Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Zamora two-player podcast. I am joined once again by my brother Matt Zamora.
Yo.
And I am Garrett Zamora here to talk about the inevitable Final Fantasy discussion along with some other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The Final Fantasy podcast and some other games.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about a couple things today that I wanted to bring up. I did show Matt some Tekken 8 trailers that we'll talk about a little later because I do want to get some of your impressions on those and a couple things that I want to talk about too. But first, like last time, let's just start with like kind of an update on just like what you've been playing. I know you've been playing more Crisis Core, so just kind of give us a quick update on your progress there. Have you beaten the story yet?
Yes, yeah. I was like, we're doing a podcast in a couple of days. I need to beat this before before we talk. Anyways, in the segment of what you play in, so I beat Crisis Core. I'd been just playing missions nonstop, and it was like it's challenging enough, and I kind of exploited a bunch of materia that's super overpowered and things like that. But right. I got to like the final mission, and so no kind of spoilers, and like just no chance.
You were pretty overpowered at that point.
Oh no, so no chance to beat it. It was like everything was fine, but then that final mission.
Sorry, you mean not the main story?
Okay, sorry. I was playing missions, and then the final, like, to get 100% mission.
Gotcha.
And you
fight final boss of the story.
No. So
gotcha.
fighting that boss, and it was like, oh, I kind of exploited some Aerith invincibility DMWs and like kind of things like that, but I was like, I'm not. This is just gonna take way too much grinding. Sure. I probably should like do it the normal way and like up my materia stats and do that. But it's like, that's boring. I'm gonna go and beat the actual game. Sure. And then maybe I'll do this in hard mode or whatever. Anyways, like one hit killed the last boss. Like and then just like, okay, as expected.
Let's just watch the cutscene.
yeah, just like next cutscene. Oh, now it's the real boom, dead. Who cares? Like, it's like, yeah. And anyway, the cutscenes were great. And then it was like, okay, maybe hard, because I remember hard mode on 7 Remake was like, oh man, like this is a challenge. Every boss you really needed to like know the like the strategy and really be on your game. But this is like, oh, hard mode, maybe this will be nope, dead. It's like I'm still way too overpowered. Hopefully it gets more challenging, but anyway, it's been fun. I'm essentially just trophy hunting now.
Right, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So anyways, kind of cruising through that.
It's hard to live up to the 7 Remakes hard mode because I do think that is like one of my favorite, like, it's such a cool way to implement a hard mode where it's not just that everything is harder because they have more health or whatever. Because it's like you can't use items, right? That's what it is. That's the thing.
Yeah, at least one of the things. Yeah, exactly.
That's the main difference. Is like you can't use items. So you can't get MP back.
Mm-hmm.
Even resting at benches, right?
Yep.
You still don't get MP back from those.
You only get you get a full recover after a chapter.
Yeah. So you basically have to do the whole chapter without, like, by managing your MP from the start of that chapter to the end of it.
Oh, and I remember we talked about this. Like you said, it's not just okay, the AI is better. The enemies have more health. It's like, no, like this is a different game. And I loved that hard mode. I remember the Hell House was just like, I'm never going to beat this game because Hell House is impossible.
Because that chapter is long. So you get to, and that's the last boss of that chapter, I think. So by that point, you just have nothing left to
Yeah.
like, you're just running on empty essentially. Technically, you could like, crit path that chapter just to like beat it and then go back and do the extra stuff if you wanted. But
Yeah.
like, come on, I
No,
did it.
come on.
I did it from the beginning.
It's like, what? And not get Aerith's like best dress? Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, what the hell are we even
What
doing
kind
this
of
for?
monster are you?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so this hard mode is just I don't know. I mean, Crisis Core is a fun distraction until Rebirth comes out. But anyway, so I'm just kind of trophy hunting now, which is fun, and then and yeah, kind of just to get my fix of throwing a Buster Sword around and
Sure.
and go from there. But
Cool.
anyway, yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Yeah, just that ending is just it hits so hard. I love it.
Oh man, like anyway, it's just like, yep, Cloud's broken.
Yeah. He is
And
he is messed up.
yeah,
Way more than I really understood. Because we talked about on a previous episode where like I had no idea that he was getting experimented on for like years. I thought it was like an afternoon or something.
yeah.
So yeah, that makes so much more sense in how messed up he is, and just why he just hates Sephiroth and like kind of doesn't really even know why. Like he just hates him, but
Yeah.
it's so
Um,
good.
and it kind of strikes me as well with like Tifa knows Sephiroth, and like when you're playing OG7, it's like, oh yeah, okay, he came around Nibelheim that one time, but now it is like, no, Tifa's just like, screw Shinra, screw
Yeah,
Sephiroth, screw all of it. Like it's kind of neat to see like how that company just ruins the lives of any sort of town that they put up shop in,
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It just corrupts everything around it, basically. Um, like
and it's
morally and like actually, like physically,
uh,
basically.
yeah, exactly. Like, destroying, yeah, everything about the town, including like the planet itself
Yeah,
in all these places. But anyway, the thing I really have liked about it a lot is just being able to see Nibelheim
like
in
remake
remake
level
version.
details. Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, but also just kind of getting a taste of just like Shinra. I always find Shinra really fascinating, just because it's like, in Japan you have these mega corporations that just like, if you go up the ladder in Japan, it's like there's like five companies that own
right.
everything. And just to kind of, it's that kind of thing where it's like, oh, the president of Shinra, essentially, it's like, oh, there's the mayor of the town, but who gives a crap? It's
Right.
like the president of this company is kind of taking over the world.
Well, and the
But
thing I liked in Seven Remake too is like when you're going through the Shinra building, it's like when you're getting the little tour around the different areas, but then when you get that like visual presentation about the ancients,
I
it
love that.
it really like it's like they're like Shinra is presenting that video, so they're
Yeah.
making themselves sound so like
Oh, it's
holier than
propaganda.
thou. Yeah,
Total
it's
propaganda. Yeah.
it's just like man, and like you just never get that sort of perspective in OG7 because it's just
No.
hard.
Yeah.
You just it's hard to do when you're not there in Midgar for very long. Like ultimately,
And it's
um,
like in to the general public, like, it's just a big company with like a CEO and a bunch of directors, whatever. It's
right?
like, but no, you see behind the curtain and it's like, no, they're just corrupt,
Yeah.
full on. Yeah.
I loved that about going through Seven Remake, just getting that perspective of how Shinra like presents themselves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
just that, yeah, it's so cool.
So
Um,
I'm liking kind of just that aspect, kind of getting more of the Shinra aspect, and some of the Genesis and NGO backstory. I'm just like, yeah, yeah, sure, whatever.
yeah,
But
same, yeah. Like, sure,
whatever.
this can exist. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's
It's
like, I don't
fine.
really care. Yeah, it's fine.
Um,
But anyway.
what do you know what you're tackling? What game you're gonna tackle next? Or are
Mm.
you still gonna work on trophies for?
Yeah, I'll finish hard mode and kind of will hopefully kind of get the trophies along the way. I downloaded the Resident Evil 4 the demo, so depending
Okay.
on how that goes, I might jump right into that if
Okay. Cool.
um
Dude, I played through that game 4 times. Uh, I played through it 4 times. I watched 2 people's full playthroughs of it, and I've probably watched about 6 hours of like interviews and like stuff from people like involved in the game and voice actors from the game. So I'm like, I think I think I'm good. I think
you're insane.
I properly absorbed. I just couldn't stop playing it. I was just
Yeah.
like, it was just like, and I did once on normal, and then I did at least one run on hardcore, which is just like the one I didn't do
Mm,
professional, which is the hardest one, because hardcore was, even with New Game Plus with all your upgrades, it was still tough. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
and so I think I just did 2 more standard playthroughs because I wanted to max out all the weapons and stuff. But it was just so fun, and they added a
Uh,
mercenaries mode, which is kind of like an arcadey style, like score attack of
mm,
just like 3 like main areas of the game, and it's just I think you just got to kill 150 enemies,
okay.
and you get like time bonus every time you kill one. And they're hard. They're not easy to like. You can't just breeze to that 150 because like the mini bosses show up every so often.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's like 4 characters you can play as, but I think suplexing people with Leon
yeah.
is like literally one of my favorite video game
Joys.
sound
Yeah.
effects.
Oh,
Like
nice,
the
nice.
crunch you get when you suplex an enemy, I can't even put into words how satisfying that is to my brain.
Is it as satisfying as Raiden like ripping a spine out of someone in
It's
Revengeance?
yeah, it's up there. It definitely has that same like tingle in your brain every time that happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
I just like fully absorbed, and that is why I like playing some of these games like day one, because
Yeah,
there's so much of that content that I can just like absorb myself in,
that's fair.
for the first couple weeks. So that's what I really like doing for a big, big release like something like Resident Evil 4. Um,
So yeah, that'll probably be pretty hot. That's jumped the queue,
cool.
and then but I haven't played like God of War, Ragnarok.
Oh
I haven't even
shit, really?
haven't even touched
You
that.
have it though,
Uh,
right?
no, no.
Oh, I thought you had that one.
Like I have the first one.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so I haven't even touched that.
Oh god, that game's so good.
Yeah, I know. And so and then any of the Pixel remasters, Final Fantasy, like anyway, there's so much. I watched the trailer for the Forbidden West like
I
DLC
totally
stuff.
forgot that was coming out. I
It came out
haven't.
like yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I wanted, but I'm like, I can't
Yeah,
because
no, not same. Yeah.
I have so much other stuff. But I will get to it eventually because that game was so good too.
Oh, so and I just watching, I was like, oh man, I forgot how good that game is. Like,
Yeah,
it's one of those games. I think we talked about this, where like I can go on side quest
yeah,
procrastination for weeks.
yeah,
Like
and it's
Aloy, and
fun.
it's like, oh yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, is it someone waiting for me at the whatever
Yeah,
temple
yeah,
for like
exactly.
a month? Um, but anyway, so
Cool.
I'll
I
play
would
around with
definitely
that.
put. I mean, just because like the how well it pays off from your experience of the first game, I would put God of War. If you don't immediately feel like jumping in at Resident Evil 4 after playing that demo, I would put God of
Yeah,
War up there to
yeah.
to get to sooner rather than later. Because yeah,
M-
that game was
My
outstanding.
I mean, the first one was so good.
Yeah,
And anyway, my buddy Cam has just been like, "How have you not played this yet?" He just like he's like this. He's like the story is so good, and I was like, man, if that's your takeaway, like for me, it's like the gameplay in the first one was so good, and if the story kind of is trumping
oh
that
yeah,
here, anyway,
it's
that
outstanding.
it was just like it was so satisfying. I mean, I played that game feels like it's like a year ago now, but like I feel like you'd throw something and it'd just be like crunch and come back and
Oh yeah,
like just how satisfying throwing your axe around was or whatever.
one of
Like,
my favorite things to do in the first game, and I'm pretty sure the move is there in the second one, is where you throw it at them, but you don't stick it in them, and it
mm.
like bounces, and you like recall
Yeah,
it, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
down,
That
slam it to the ground as you catch it.
it was like a
Uh,
timed hit as well or
Something like
whatever.
that, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
that combat in that game is so fun. And
yeah,
the
yeah.
thing I was a little worried about, and this is not spoiler territory at all, um, I was worried because, like, you saw like the secret ending of the first game, right? Where you go back to your house and you go to
Yes.
sleep, and you
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
Thor like
Yeah,
standing there.
yeah.
So it's like, so it's no secret that like Thor is
Mhm,
in the second game,
mhm.
and there is some like Odin should,
Yeah.
yeah, that should be expected that you're gonna
Mhm.
see Odin. And I was just I didn't really have reason to think they would do this, but I was like, I hope it's like not like MCU Thor. Like I hope they don't
Yeah, yeah.
try to make, and it is not at all. Like they
Good.
are such unique versions of those characters.
Yep.
Which I think from everything I like read and watched, it's like a lot truer to like their mythology
The Norse
counterpart.
mythology. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that tracks. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, it was a very mind, because I was like, there's no way they're gonna make him look like Chris Hemsworth or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just
Yeah.
that little worry that maybe like the MCU Thor will ruin what I think of this Thor, because I'm
Eh,
expecting him to be this jokey, like kind of
yeah, yeah,
dumb,
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, no, they did. They are awesome versions of those characters for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, that's probably next on my list for a variety of different reasons. So anyway, well, oh, what are you playing these days? I,
So
I saw you your Pixel
yeah,
Remaster
yeah, I'll put a
wallpaper.
picture of that up on the podcast.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I was just like I was so jealous.
I picked up the Pixel Remasters 1 through 6, and I like loaded it up on my PS5 dashboard. You could only fit 11 games on that, so
Yeah.
I got 1 to 7, 7 remake, and then 8, 9, and 10 all
Yeah.
lined
Yeah.
up. And I was like, no, it's not even all of them. There's more Final Fantasies on my system, but
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I have been playing those, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Um, One thing I played. This is why I don't have time for the Horizon uh,
DLC.
DLC, is because the Pixel Remasters came out this week, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is like one of my favorite games from last year, they had story DLC planned, and I knew it was coming, so I was like, I didn't buy the like season pass thing or whatever yet, but I was like, when that drops, I'll pick it up, because their last Xenoblade 1 and 2 story DLCs are
Mm.
like 30 hours or more. Like they're
One
like
DLC.
like huge story, chunks that kind of take place apart from the main story, so it's like a separate little slice, which I like. And it had on the website, and every time they'd show it, they would show like the different like waves of DLC,
Mm.
which are like new character, new mode, whatever. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll play that stuff eventually, but I just want to jump in when the new story's in. And the wave 4, where it's like story DLC, it said like uh expected by December 31st, 2023 or whatever.
Mm.
Um and like 2 days ago, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's out next week." I was just like, "What?" It's just like, Jesus, why
Yeah.
would you do? Which is like a good problem to have, especially because I'll be able to tackle that before the new Zelda comes out, because that comes out mid-May.
Oh man. There's
Um,
too many games. Like I
it's
need
crazy.
um like my buddy Pete, his dad a long time ago went on a hiatus or a leave of absence from work for like a year just because he was like, you know what, I need a break.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I need. I need a hiatus. I need a break
Yeah.
and just game for a year. Um, I'm so like there's so many Zelda games I haven't played, and oh, I just
When we eventually get you a Switch,
yeah, yeah.
Breath of the Wild will be up there, because when you talk
Mm,
about distracting or procrastinating, things on the
side
map,
quests.
that is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole friggin' game.
yeah.
God, I loved going through that for the first time. So for the new one, I'm just super excited. And so anyway, so the Xenoblade DLC, yeah, comes out next week, and I'm like, I was trying to get all the Pixel remasters done, and now I have
Yeah.
this. So, but it'll be nice to like jump back and forth, like because grinding out on some of those Pixel remasters, it gets the encounter rates on those old games are so high.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
it's something that it's good to just step away from. So I'll have that to go back and forth. But I was thought it was going to be winter. I thought that was like end of the year. Like
Yeah,
it's next
yeah.
week, by the way. We're just like,
Oh
well,
man.
okay, thank you.
Man, those Pixel remasters too, like those are 6 games and they are not short games either.
Yeah,
Like
the one,
yeah.
2, and 3, I think each took me about like they probably took me like 17 or 18 hours
Mm.
ish. But 4, 5, and 6 definitely are like 20 to 30 hours per.
I would
And then I'm doing all the trophies, so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it'll be it'll be some time that I that I put into those for sure.
Um, 2-second side quest here. Are there any fun trophies in FF6 that kind of are like silly things that you would do? Um,
Ugh,
that, that, that
I'd
you
have to look
off
at the
top of your head.
list. Yeah, I'd have to look
Fair.
at the list again. I know one of them in all of 6 of them is you have to like fight every enemy in the game at least once.
Okay.
So some of the rare ones are like the thing I'm worried about is like when you're doing the river or the raft
Yep.
because you can miss. I know there's stuff you can miss there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like there's a dance that you can miss if you don't learn it with Mog in
Yeah,
or no, you
right.
have to go back before the World of Ruin happens and go in there with Mog. So I guess you can go back there. But
Yep, that's true.
I'll have guides for missable stuff.
Yeah.
The nice thing, I guess we'll talk about it now. The nice thing with the Pixel remasters is they each have their own individual platinum trophy, so it's not like a bundle
Oh, wow.
of
Cool.
trophies for all of them. And one so they added in the console release they called them like boosts, and it's like you can turn the encounter rate off, so just if you're like lost or backtracking, it
Oh, yeah.
just takes some of that tedium out.
We're so
um
spoiled now.
I know, and that's why it's like why I don't feel guilty using them, because it's like I grew up
I
without
did
this
it.
stuff, and
Yeah.
even when the Pixel remasters came out like a year ago, it didn't have that. Like that
Mm.
version didn't have it. So like I've done it.
You put in
Okay,
your time.
yeah,
You put in your time.
shut up. I can turn this stuff on. Um, and
That's how I feel with like emulators and like save states or whatever.
rewinding and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and they have like XP gain you can turn up to like 4 times as much, and like money gain you can up same 4 times as much.
Why not?
So some of those they're like, oh, hit level 99 with each character, and
Okay.
because I
Yeah.
found out the boosts don't disable the trophies.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can turn those on and do it. And it's like, okay, like I said, put my time in. I'm just going for the victory lap on these.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going through, so I'm like a little over halfway through one, because one is pretty quick, especially if you have a guide and you just know where to go. I'm going through like to the I'm going in to like beat the game, like beat the last boss without those. I will
Mm.
sometimes turn the random encounter thing off if I'm like dead and I need to get
Mhm.
out of the cave and use a tent or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just to, so I'm not banging my head against the wall. But I won't turn on the other stuff to grind for money or whatever until I beat the game. And like, okay,
Yeah,
now we're going for all the trophies. Let me turn all this shit on.
that's 100% legit. It's funny. I find that trophy kind of annoying. Like get level 99 with everyone, especially like if there's no reason to be like 60 to 99. Like if
Sure.
there are no like no abilities, no like
Right.
enemies that you need to kill. Be like if you can beat the game at level 70, whatever. It's just like. What? Why?
Yeah.
What's with the what? Who cares?
And I
But
think the one for Final Fantasy 1, it just wants you to get to 50, which is not the max. So
mm,
that one is a little more reasonable, but I'm pretty sure 3, I I think Final Fantasy 3 has like, I think it's get to level 9 with one character maybe. I don't think it's all of them, but
Yeah.
if you're getting it with one, you're probably getting it with all anyway because they're
I,
always fighting together.
yeah, exactly.
But
But
with the boosts, like yeah, it's a victory lap. I've done
mm,
these games, especially like I've played through 1 through 6 like a lot. I've played those a lot when back when I was like streaming a lot. I
yep,
went through all of them to make sure like I had beaten every numerical one at least once because there had been a couple that I missed.
yep.
So like I've beaten these games multiple times. I'm turning those
I'm
boosts on when I'm getting the trophies.
I'm playing for fun now, so
Yeah.
not for a badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these trophies are like for the times that amount of times I've played this game in my life. Give me the trophy now.
Yeah.
I've earned this trophy. I've beat this game so many times.
I saw some stuff about like you can use original font or like newer font. Do
Yeah.
you
So
do you lean on one or the other, or
so God, when it came out on PC, everyone was losing their minds about how bad the font looked compared to
yeah,
the Japanese one because the Japanese one had like a more pixelated look. And
okay,
it's like there was nothing wrong with that font. People
yeah,
just wanted to just pile
complain
on
about
some
something,
complain
yeah,
about something.
yeah,
They added that font in this version. I turned it on. I'm like, I can't read this. Like it's like, no, put it back. I like the
yeah,
other font.
yeah.
But whatever. They have the option now. The people that want, they want it. I don't know. I don't understand why people got so upset about it. I found the font was perfectly fine, and I actually prefer it now. Anyway, I could see maybe when it was on a smaller screen because it was on mobile. All the Pixel remasters were on mobile.
Okay,
I could
right,
see
right,
that being harder to read with the newer font because it's like a little slimmer and just like cleaner looking, whereas
yeah,
pixelated are like bigger, bulkier
yeah,
characters. So
yeah,
I could kind of see that, but for playing on like a normal size screen,
yeah,
give me the regular font. I don't care.
yeah, yeah,
And they do give you the option to switch back and forth between the re-recorded music, which all 6 of them have fully re-recorded music.
oh wow,
Like every track in all 6 games.
wow, that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, it's
Um,
it's like that alone is like worth having this collection just to hear all the new versions of
and
the
like
music.
love the OG music. And it's
Yes,
but it's like just something new.
but
So why the hell
yeah,
not? Yeah,
I'll always listen to a new version of those tracks just
yeah.
because I like them
It's
so
like
much. I want to hear different
it's
takes
like
on them.
it's a cover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you do have the option to switch back and forth. Um,
that's awesome. Oh, I want those remasters.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're because which of those have you not beaten? I feel
Mm.
like 1, 2, and 3 you probably haven't played to
I've
completion.
beaten one. I remember I downloaded it on like my iPhone 10 years ago.
Oh, it's
I was
probably
going
like
to
the PSP version. Were they like
yeah,
nicer looking, like not
y-
pixelated?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's like
Um,
kind of the close to the PSP version.
but yeah, I was like on my phone because I was going to like um a conference in Asia with lots of flying, and I was like, gotta do something.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I played through one on that, which was fun. And but so I played one, I played four, I've beat one, I've beat four, I've played five, but I've never beat it.
Okay.
That was like old school emulator on the family computer,
Do you do you remember what the main character's name was mistranslated to in the fan translation?
so I mean, in that it was Bart's Bartz. Um,
Uh, so that
is
is
that it?
his actual name.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, now I'm
So
questioning myself. Yeah, that is his actual name.
I think that's what it was on that computer. But what's like the mistranslation? Uh,
So the mistranslation, maybe it was just an earlier one that we had.
yeah,
I'm just making sure I'm not gonna lose my Final Fantasy card. Yeah, it is
yeah,
Bart's.
yeah.
Um, it was Butts. Butz.
Amazing.
It's like
Um,
because you think a Japanese like like
Oh,
Batsu or whatever, however they would say it, it'd be very easy to get those
oh,
mixed up.
there's so many mistranslations from that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I played 5, but never beat it. And then 6
6
played.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and then I've played since then, not the online one, 11. I haven't played that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 12, 13, and then not 14.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so 2 and 3 have not played, and
And 5
5
haven't beaten.
haven't beat. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the Pixel remasters would be, and I do feel like they might. I feel like they scale a little bit easier.
Mm,
These versions, 5, I had to grind a bit to beat 5. 5 was
okay.
actually still pretty hard. Um,
I love just like the job system or
oh
whatever in
god,
5. Yeah,
and they've like that is a system that has come back in other games in different forms, and it's
yeah,
like kind of the basis of like the 14, the MMO,
yeah, yeah,
job switching and stuff. Yeah, I love job and like cross classing and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So much fun.
So I will get those, and like it's was I talking to you about this, where it was like all this nostalgia stuff, like playing FF7 remake, like half of it is just because it reminds me of a time when I was happy.
Sure. Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
all like, so playing FF6, I could just like sink into a nostalgia blanket and just be like, oh man, like back when my number one problem was how can I get more hours in a day to play a video game?
Yeah.
So no,
Uh,
I'll definitely play those.
and playing the 6 remaster was, I feel like, of playing those 6 re-releases or whatever, I think 6 was my favorite. Just I mean, this should be no surprise because it was the first one we played, right? So it's
Yeah,
obviously gonna hit me harder, but just how well it was updated and the music all redone and that opera scene and like Kefka's theme in the Pixel remaster, like his Dancing Mad, I mean.
yeah, yeah.
Just like god damn, that game is so good. It's
And
so freaking good.
it's funny too. That was the first game that I felt like, because we had played, Mario and DKC and da 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 and that was just like, whoa, like this is a story.
Yeah.
This game is has some weight to it here, and it's like I remember thinking like I'm having feelings that I would watching like a movie. And this is just like 16-bit characters running
Yeah, yeah.
around the screen kind of thing, and I was like, I didn't know games could be like have a story here. And but no, story in FF3, like you're just like, oh yeah, magic, cool, like this is gonna be fun, and it's like, no, wait, I'm having like an emotional anxiety for Terra right now. Like the
Yeah.
things are going down and I'm scared.
Or like
Yeah.
Kefka like poisoning the water of an entire
Mhm,
kingdom, and
mhm.
they like all of them dying, including like Cyan's like wife and child. Just like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is this game? Like, should I be playing this?
Yeah, I remember like,
This
it was
is
just
dark.
it was like, wait, no, like you're supposed to like fall down a hole. Uh-oh, try again.
Yeah.
And this is just like, oh wait, no, there are consequences to these actions here.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just such good story writing. Anyway, welcome to JRPGs, Matt and Garrett kind of thing. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, cool. So definitely, the nice thing about the Pixel remasters is, so you buy them like piecemeal,
mhm.
and there's no bundle, so it's like you don't save money. It's like you don't have to wait and then do a big purchase to get all of them. It's like you
Yeah,
can just
yeah, yeah.
pick one up, play it, pick the next one up, play it. And they're like between 16 and like 20 some dollars
Oh,
Canadian.
no way. Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're cheap.
Uh,
Like I think
yeah,
6 is the most expensive and it's like $25 or something.
yeah. Wow.
Which for how well redone it is. Yeah. I mean, obviously I bought it twice, so
Yeah.
I bought them all
Um,
twice.
so the original game on SNES, and then like on
Yeah.
Steam, and then
So I have,
whatever. So
yeah, so we had the original game, which like we didn't buy that one, I don't think technically. We
I
probably
think,
got it.
do you remember we bought it like on eBay? Um
Did eBay even exist then?
It was like just kind of starting because we were like, I love this game. I can't keep like renting it every
Oh,
week.
okay, we rented it. Okay, that makes more sense why we
Like
would want it bad enough to do that because
yeah,
we
because
had rented it.
we had rented it, and like again, this is 1995 or whatever. It's like, how do you buy a game that's been out for a while? Like, it's like I know where to buy new games, but if a game is like more than like a year old, it's like you better just like get lucky in a bin somewhere or
Right.
whatever. Like, how do you buy an old game anywhere? So it was like eBay, and it was $30 or something like that, or maybe like $30 US.
Okay.
And so we bought it. It's like, okay, we're going on the internet and mom's credit card, and like this better be real. I remember
Yeah.
being really concerned that like nothing was gonna show up,
Sure.
and mom was gonna be like, that internet's just stealing the money. But anyway, so it arrived, and I remember it had like a sticker that was like a video game rental, like a Blockbuster Video sticker on it, whatever.
Okay.
And we were just like, oh man, did someone like steal this
Like
from
rent it
Blockbuster,
and just sell it.
rent it and sell it on the internet?
Probably.
Someone's gonna come after us. But anyways, that's how we got FF3 or 6. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we did technically buy it.
Yep. Mom bought it.
That's fair. We worked off that debt.
Yeah.
So we had that one. I bought it on PS3 because like the PlayStation
Okay.
Classics
Oh,
and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
it was the PlayStation Classics, which was what was it? Final Fantasy Anthology was the
Yep.
one that had 5 and 6.
Oh, yep.
So you could just
Yep.
buy 6, and it was that
Yep.
version of 6.
Yeah.
I have it on.
And I remember that didn't have any trophies, right? Like,
No,
yeah.
the PS1 Classics didn't. Then I bought. There was like the weird looking mobile version,
Mm.
and that went to Steam. I bought that, and then I bought the Pixel Remaster on Steam, and now I have the Pixel Remaster on PS5.
Square Enix, I hope you're listening. Like, yeah.
I think I've bought 4 more than that. So we had 4 on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
No, okay, we didn't buy that one. That one I borrowed. That one I
Yeah,
borrowed from.
we never
a friend.
we never owned that on SNES. Yeah.
So we didn't have that one, but I got it on the DS remake, and then that version went to Steam. No, I guess it's not as many because that version went to Steam. I bought it, and then the Pixel Remaster there and there. So I guess 6 is still. I think 7 might be the most I've bought, but anyway.
Oh yeah.
I've bought a lot of them so many times.
And like I'd understand. I'd buy I'd buy every version of that possible.
Oh, I had the PSP version of Final Fantasy 4 too, actually.
I think there was a DS version of 6.
It was it was Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay, Advance.
Yeah. And it was just basically the Super Nintendo version, but it didn't sound as good because it didn't have as much like audio power as an SNES.
I remember I downloaded a Game Boy Advance emulator when I was doing my degree and got that. And it's like, yeah, the sound wasn't quite as good, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
And it was like I needed a distraction writing my thesis. And so I like just playing that. And it had like 4 extra dungeons.
Yeah.
Like dragons or something like that.
And I forget what it is, but I remember there was like extra content. Yeah.
And it was like when I was just trying to finish up and write, and it was like the perfect distraction because it was like, man, my like favorite game ever, 6 and 7, but like with some extra content, sign me up. I was so happy. Yeah.
So chalk that up as another version of that game I bought because I had the Game Boy Advance one.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, one summer I wanted to like own every Final Fantasy, like in some form, and I couldn't find a copy of 6 on Super Nintendo because it was like insanely expensive. But I found the GBA version because the DS had a Game Boy Advance slot, so you could still play Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, okay.
So I had 5 and 6 on that version. I don't think I ever even played it in that version though.
The dungeons were really good, like the extra
Yeah,
dragons. Yeah,
it was just because playing it on a handheld was not
fair.
as fun as playing it with a controller or whatever. So
That's true. Yeah, and I played it on my computer, so
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
Um,
yeah, we like Final Fantasy, but I'll throw
yeah,
I'll throw that picture up of my dashboard because that was pretty fun.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so really quick before we just take a break, we jumped ahead a little bit because I just wanted to talk about those Pixel remasters. But on the topic of Resident Evil, um, so when I was done absorbing all the Resident Evil 4 content, and I was just like, I still
Saturated.
just like fully saturated. Um, so I've mentioned his channel before, Maximillian Dood. He's
Mm.
big on fighting games and Final Fantasy, but he also loves Resident Evil 4. He's one of the playthroughs I watched
Oh, okay.
of 4. Or he's big on Resident Evil in general, I mean. And he did a couple weeks ago before, because he was playing a bunch of Resident Evil stuff before 4 came out. And he did some randomizers of different versions of the games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one that we did a randomizer of OG Resident Evil 2. And so normal randomizers is just like it'll randomize the items that you pick up.
Yeah.
So when you do a puzzle or something and it drops a medallion, you pick it up and it's like shotgun shells or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has logic to like not lock you,
not lock you out. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So you can complete it. You just have to be thorough.
Yeah.
But the one he had was like it had more random things like so it was the drops, it was enemy types. So right out the gate when you like get out of the burning car, there's like 5 zombies there. It was like 5 tyrants. And like your starting gear was random. So we had a knife and like a first aid spray instead of a pistol. So we had to just run.
Yeah.
So yeah, enemy types and placements were random. There'd be random like invisible until you walk on them zombie arms on the ground. So you'd walk and it was like, it would just like, stop you.
So heart attack setting.
Yeah. Because it would be like it'd be meant to like jump scare you.
Yeah.
The NPCs, like characters you run into for plot points are random. Like what character it's gonna be. And
is the dialogue random?
The dialogue was random. And it pulled dialogue from like the remakes as well. And it had like character models from like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. And it had like pixelated versions of Resident Evil 4 characters and Resident Evil 5 characters and Dino Crisis. That's all in there. And there was just like, I mean, the whole playthrough was just so funny random. Because like none of the dialogue made any sense. And like Leon is just kind of this like sort of like, big ham anyway. So making his dialogue random just kind of sort of works in a really funny way because he's just such a like, such a dork. But there's 2 parts that I literally had to pause the video because I was crying. I was laughing so hard. He was like, I don't know if you played Remake 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it happens in OG, but I just figured you'd remember the remake more closely. Where there's that like reporter guy that's like locked in a cell.
Yeah.
And like
in the basement, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you got to like give him a key card or something, and he'll give you the parking pass or whatever to get out of the police station. And it's like he got there, and it was Sherry, like the little girl. Yeah. And it's just like, hey, is anybody in there? She's just like, he says that, and she was just like, bah! Like scream, and he was just like, fuck you. Because it was a sound he would make when like in Remake, when like I think it's like when a zombie gets on you and you push him off or something, just fuck you.
Yeah.
It's just this little girl. Just, fuck you.
Oh, man, that's so good.
And then there was a part later when I think it's Sherry, or not Sherry, Annette. No, it must be Ada because Anyway, I think it's Ada. I can't remember. Because it looks like he's kissing this person, so that's why I
Yeah.
think it's Ada. But it might
Yeah.
just be because the randomizer, the model was different, so it might have looked like he was actually kissing him.
Yeah.
Because I think it might have been Annette, because she actually dies in that game when she like saves you from
Yeah.
broken
Yeah.
or whatever. So it was like Police Chief Irons who like shows a big fat guy, and he like saves you, and then he's on the ground, and you go over, and it's like, oh no, this is when Leon's like looking right in his face, like, hey, is anybody in there? And he's like, because I think the plot for him, he's like, he like captures Sherry or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's just like, have you seen a little girl around here? And then he goes in. This is why I thought it was Ada, because it looks like he goes in for a kiss, but it's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
because the model is bigger, so it
Just
just
big. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it like genuinely looks like he's just like making out with them, and then he gets up back up, and he's like, "Well, this is not how I expected the first day in the job to go." And then he gets up and walks away. He's just fuck. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
And
I
is
was
this was this a stream, or is he have it on
It's a
YouTube, or
VOD. Yeah,
oh,
he has
okay,
it
yeah,
recorded. Maybe
I'll definitely.
I'll grab a link to that video, and I know one of the comments on it put timestamps of this stuff.
Oh, sure.
So I'll just throw that maybe in the description of this.
Nice.
But it was so I was laughing so hard.
uh
It's just like what kind of lore did this game just try to tell me? It was so good.
yeah,
And then there was oh sorry, go ahead.
this is now canon.
Yeah. And there was a point where like you just ran into a different model of Leon, and they were talking to each other. Oh god, it was so funny. And if someone was following you, because like there's a I think it's some point Sherry follows you as Claire or Ada follows you as Leon for a little
Mm.
bit. Every screen it would change who it was that was following you. Oh
It's like
god.
you have to like know the game and know it well in order
Yes.
to like play this, and let alone
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh god, it was so funny. Anyway, so in my like, you know, Resident Evil, just like consuming media everywhere I could,
Yeah.
I have found that, and I think like the whole playthrough, because he did A and B for
Okay.
Leon, so I think it was like a total of like probably like because he got through them pretty quick because the
Yeah,
randomizer makes some things trivial.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like it was probably like a total of like 10 or 11 hours
Oh, okay.
that I watched the whole thing because I just could not stop laughing. Um, God, it was so funny.
Uh,
Anyway,
I'll have to check that out. That sounds
yeah,
amazing.
at least check those two parts out because my God, I was crying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um,
No, send me the time code, or you'll post it here.
yeah, I'll
So
put in the
yeah,
video
yeah,
description.
yeah. Cool.
Okay, so let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit of some Tekken and Street Fighter, and then I have a couple things to talk about Final Fantasy 16 coming up.
Awesome.
Just some stuff that I wanted to, just some stuff that I was thinking about it. I still haven't watched anything, so I was like, oh, you gotta at
Oh,
least talk about it then.
you're on blackout mode.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back.
Okay. Cool. See you in a minute.
Yep.
Cool.
Everyone, welcome back. We're gonna continue our discussion a little bit. I had some things I wanted to just talk about Final Fantasy 16 for a little bit, just because we're like almost exactly 2 months away from that game, and because I'm avoiding all the media for it, I gotta at least talk about it because
And
it's gonna build up inside me.
it's crazy. Like in the same conversation of like there are too many games. Too my queue is too long. It's like, oh, Final Fantasy 16. Crap.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I
I better get through some stuff here.
yeah. So as we like mentioned on a previous episode, and Matt, you kind of mentioned this earlier. Like I'm on like full media blackout. Like if I see a tweet about the game, I'm skipping it. I'm
Mhm.
scrolling past
Yep.
because I'm just so sold on the game already. I just don't want any big set piece moments or anything to be spoiled. I want to see those when they happen, like on my TV.
It's a
Um,
it's a good attitude, really. I I will endeavor to do that with Rebirth, with no promises.
now, it's like I've watched like trailers up till now of 16. So I've watched the first like 3 or 4 trailers as it
Yeah,
was. But now that we're just close, it's like I
yeah,
don't need that like drip feed anymore. It's like we're
yeah,
so close to it, I can just wait for another couple, 2 or 3 months by the time I stopped watching stuff. But it's like when it's so far out, it's like that's all you have, and like the information is so slow until they
yeah,
start that like big marketing push that it's
yeah,
just like, just give me like a taste. Like let me just watch this video again. But yeah,
yeah,
now
yeah,
we're at a point because I do feel like the closer we get to a game's release, the more spoilery things start showing up
yeah. Oh,
in the
totally.
trailers. So that's kind of also why I wanted why I do it for certain games. Um,
Before you talk about 16, Rebirth is like spring
it's
24 or
it's winter 23, which probably means like March. Like March is still technically winter.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I could see them pushing it to the end of that window just to make sure they give themselves enough time to polish it up.
Fair.
Um,
Okay, sorry. Anyways,
that's fine.
16. Yeah.
Because the reason I bring up Media Blackout is just because like they had a state of play, which is like
Mm.
the PlayStation, online presentations, and it was like 24 minutes of FF16 gameplay, and I was like,
Oh,
I'm not gonna watch that. Like,
oh,
I
wow.
want to, but it's like if it's all like I know there's gonna be stuff in there that would be cool to see for the first time when I'm playing. And it's funny because like that same day, the like final trailer for Breath of the Wild 2 also came out, and I was
Okay.
trying to media blackout that game too, but I'm like, I can't do both
Yeah.
on the same day. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll watch a 2 minute trailer or a 3 minute trailer once
Yeah.
versus 20 some minutes of, in game footage. I was like,
Okay.
that will be less spoilery, which cool note about that is they confirmed. So, Critical Role is the show, the D&D show that I watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Matt Mercer is like the dungeon master of that, and he's like just incredible
Yeah.
voice work on those, and incredible voice work on everything he does, which is a lot of things. Um, he's gonna be the voice of Ganondorf in the
Oh,
Breath of the
wow.
Wild 2. And
Nice.
the trailer they showed like a month or so, 2 months ago or something, there was speaking, but you didn't see like who it was. But it was like 2 seconds, like that's Matt Mercer's voice. Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
know it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like his villain voice.
Yeah.
But it's like I think because you couldn't see the fact that it was Ganondorf talking, he
Mm.
couldn't confirm it yet because he'd be confirming Ganondorf is in the game
Yeah.
when
I
there's no
see. I see.
footage of him. But then in this most recent trailer, it was very obviously Ganondorf, and he like immediately tweeted that he's allowed to say that he's voicing it.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like my friend texted me, and she was like, "Oh, did you see Matt Mercer's in the new Zelda?" And I was like, "Let me show you because she watches Critical Role too." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Let me show you the previous trailer, and you tell me if it was a question that it was Matt Mercer." And she watched it, and she's like, "Yeah, that's all. That's so obviously him." It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she got it. She understood that too. But anyway, so all that to say, there was this big gameplay presentation about Final Fantasy 16 that I avoided and I still haven't watched. But it did make me want to talk about a couple things about Final Fantasy 16. And mostly it's like why I think Final Fantasy 16 is like so important right
Mm.
now to like the series, like the Final
Sure.
Fantasy series. So the thing I noticed this from the first trailer back in like the PS5 reveal event because that's when they showed the first trailer for 16,
Yeah.
which was like that was like 2 3 years ago. Um, it's like reintroducing newer players or just players that have been playing Final Fantasy for a long time, but it's like reintroducing them to like the classic fantasy
Hmm.
style, ignoring the MMOs because I do feel like that's a whole different crowd and it's it's its own thing. It's not a true like single player experience kind of thing. So
Yeah.
people that play the Final Fantasy games will off, not all of them will play the MMO. So
Yeah.
the if you're single offline, like a single player offline Final Fantasy,
Like
person
me.
like you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um it's like it has been since Final Fantasy 9, since they went
Yeah.
to this like classic sort of fantasy. And that was the thing that made 9 so special, is it
Yep.
was doing that after like 6 is not really like fantasy. Like it's very steampunk
Yep.
technology kind of stuff. 4 is very classic fantasy, style. And
Yep.
then 6, 7, and 8 were all kind of steampunk modern
Yep.
vehicles and machinery and stuff. And so like that's why a lot of people love 9, because it really went back to like the classic fantasy setting. And go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember that when they were like 9. Because I remember when we saw like the character models for 9. I remember being first just being like, what?
Yeah.
Because it's like because I'd pictured like 7 looked so realistic. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then and then 8 because 8 was a huge leap from
Yeah.
7. And I was like, okay, I can't even imagine how realistic 9 is gonna what? Like
Yeah.
what's going? And I was like, this looks like a cartoon. And I saw all this press about this is a love letter to the
Yeah.
original, you know, black mages, knights, and these kind of things. And
Even like
we
the 4, what do they call them in the 9?
the fiends or whatever.
That's 4. I forget what the 4 guardians or something.
Yeah.
It's like the 4 crystal bosses of like FF1. It's like
And
actually those same bosses.
kind of back into crystals.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because and it was just kind of like I, I didn't know all of that lore.
No.
I didn't know what Final Fantasy was all about. To me, Final Fantasy was 6 and 7 and 8,
Yeah.
which are not the representative of the series by kind of any
Or at least
stretch.
the early part of it, because but at that point it was half of it, right? Like
Yeah.
half
Yep.
of it was 1, 2,
True.
3, 4 was classic.
Yeah.
5 5 I guess is more classic than not. But then like 6, 7, and 8 were more modern. But
Yeah.
we grew up starting in that phase of it when it was in the
Yep.
steampunk sort of more modern looking kind of stuff.
It's kind of like if you're a kid when I don't know, it was like in Alien 3 already. It's like, no, you haven't seen Alien 1 and 2.
Sure.
Like, it's like you don't understand the origins of all of this. And so going back to mages and crystals and some of the summon monsters would, the classics, the Alexanders, and all these kind of things. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because yeah, we haven't seen the black mage kind of build since 9
Since 9, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
just looking in like number of
Dragoons and
number
yeah,
of entry, and there's a trailer where you're fighting a dragoon in
yeah,
one of the early
yeah,
trailers, and it looks so sick. It's
yeah.
like, that is
Oh
so
man.
awesome. um oh no, I don't have my dragoon hoodie. um
I remember too, like um Final Fantasy 13 was it was like, oh, the crystals are kind of back as an important part
yeah,
of how the world works in the Final Fantasy world,
yeah,
kind of thing, which I remember being a big thing. Yeah.
yeah. And there's always like there's always a piece of that in all of these games in some
Yep.
way.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just this one is just going like so like gameplay wise, it's very modern, right? It's
Yep.
still very modern, way more action heavy or whatever. But just the story and like the setting and like the narrative just looks like it's gonna harken back to that classic fantasy, which I just think is important to go back once in a while to really
It's
appreciate that.
knowing your roots, knowing your
Yeah,
history.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just think because of for how long it's been, and like 12, I had written down 12. 12 is very much in the middle. I think
I
12
was
is
just about to say.
a lot like 6 actually, where there's swords and shields, but there's machinery and like bigger industrial looking cities and stuff. So I think 12 is like 6 in that way, where it's kind of between, it's riding the line a little bit
That's fair.
between
I,
them.
I remember like I hadn't played 12. 12 was like a blind spot of mine for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, we talked
Um,
about that.
a- and um, and then you had mentioned Realm Reborn has a lot of quality of life improvements, yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, I'll play this. And I remember like
Oh,
the
the
first.
Realm Reborn's the MMO. You mean the
Oh, a Zodiac Age.
Zodiac
Sorry.
Age? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Um,
I was like, did you play 14?
and,
Can we talk about that?
um, yeah, no. So I remember like the opening of it is just like talking about two continents fighting each other and like the succession line, and I was like,
It's
okay,
basically it's basically Star Wars.
yeah. And I remember being like, okay, hold on here. Like, can we slow down? I don't know the history of this world yet.
Yeah.
But I remember that felt like, are we going full on Final Fantasy of old where it's kingdom versus kingdom? And I was like, oh, okay, no, this is kind of like six.
Yeah.
In uh,
It's setting.
yeah, it's like that's steampunky, but
Like
um
industrial a little bit.
industrial.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I like to see the classic, it's classic magic, it's classic
Yeah.
jobs, classic crystals are important.
Yeah.
Crystals are everything to these and summon monsters, things like
Oh,
that.
and that's going to play such a part in this one. I can't
Oh yeah.
wait to see how that.
Well, was it you who said like this is like nuke codes
Yeah.
are summon monsters?
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
weapons of mass destruction basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if they're like the characters that can wield it, it's like in their bloodline, or is it like,
Mm,
do they have to do something to gain this power, or I don't know. But anyway, it's gonna be, and the way the director of this, Yoshi P, the way he uses summons in 14's lore,
mm.
it's like, I I guarantee it's gonna be like fantastic use of them in it. Like he just loves summons. Like you can
Yeah,
tell he
yeah, yeah.
loves integrating them into the lore of the game. And 15 did a little bit, but I don't think it did it super well. Um it was cool, but it definitely wasn't like really ingrained in a satisfying way in the lore as I would have liked. Um
I like that kind of stuff. I remember like playing, like, let's say playing six, and that was neat. The espers, some espers were part of the lore.
yeah, that's
Um
true. Yeah.
and it was just like, oh man, and that was my first exposure to that. And I remember being a little kind of disappointed in seven when it was kind of like, look, they're awesome because they're now like cinematic events,
Right.
but you just like
It took
find
away
them
from that like narrative element.
because it's just like you found Ifrit materia. And it's like, well, what's his story? What's his deal?
Yeah.
Why is it here? And then I liked how in eight it went back to that. Like you'd fight them in order to
Yeah.
like gain them, and I was like, oh, okay, like this
At
is
least you get some sort of
yeah.
story there. Yeah, yeah.
And then it was neat kind of going back to play. I don't know, like four or something, where like they were really part of the story kind of thing. And anyway, I like that. I like kind
Yeah.
of um and then I'm trying to think. There are some other ones where it was like, yeah, like they're in nine, like some of the summons, and 10
Uh,
as well.
9 is
10 for
like
sure. Yeah,
Alexander is like protecting the kingdom.
yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
yeah, she's going around trying to collect all these summons or whatever. And yeah, yeah. And
I,
10
I,
was
re-
such a big part of it.
yeah, I really liked in 10 how the summons were major set pieces of the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Um,
So yeah, I'm
cool.
excited for how they integrate it, because it's going to be, and like that's the trailer before I stopped watching had a crazy like set piece moment
Mm,
in with what was like looked like a Titan fight, and I was
mhm.
like, that's when I was like, I kind of wish I didn't see that. So
Yeah.
that's when I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not watching anymore. It's gonna be so cool.
I
Um,
um I'll be really. I haven't seen much. I think you've sent me a couple of trailers, but I'll kind of try to keep it at a minimum. But I remember like I don't know what the combat's gonna be like, and but like the stagger system in 13 and how they incorporated that into 7, like I just love what they're doing with combat. It's just
So
they
there definitely is some kind of stagger. I've seen that
yeah.
in one of the early trailers. Um, and it looks like Near meets Revengeance. Because you've never played
Nice.
Devil May Cry, and it's that
No.
combat designer that is
Oh,
working on
okay.
this game,
Nice.
or one of them. But it's like Near meets like Revengeance for combat.
Awesome.
Like it's very action, and it's like you have different stances. It looks like so your
Oh,
main
cool.
character seems to like get powers from these summons, and he
Mm.
has like a Shiva stance and a Titan stance and like a Garuda stance or whatever.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
just
cool.
looking at the HUD made me like so excited for how just like insane it's gonna be. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be a wild ride in that combat for sure.
Oh man. Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah,
Add it to the list.
yeah. And
uh
so another reason why I think it's like really important is like so Yoshi P, the producer director, he like saved. A lot of people will say he basically like saved the Final Fantasy brand from hitting like all time lows.
oh
Be,
man. With
be,
when 14 or
so when original 14 came out,
mm,
it was bad. Like
hmm.
there's documentaries about how bad it was. And it was, and he admits he knows it was bad. Like he knows it was a flop.
And it's
But
a full on MMO, right? Like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the problem is I think that came out. Yeah, that came out first, and then 15 came out probably a couple years later. I have to look at the actual timeline. But 15 had a lot of problems too because it was originally supposed to be like Final Fantasy versus 13, and I think it was supposed to take place in like the universe of 15 in some way.
Hmm.
And I don't know a lot of the details. There's lots of like videos about that, which I didn't dive too much into, but um, or I did, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember. Um, but it was like it's supposed to be more of like a spin-off. It was like the Fabula Nova Crystallis like
Hmm.
series or whatever.
Yeah.
Um and then like it's just like development issues and delays, and then they decided to rebrand it as 15, so they probably had to rework a lot of the story to like make it its own standalone thing. And then it came out and it was like I played it and I liked it, because it's
Mm,
Final Fantasy, so I'm gonna like it to some level. But
yeah.
it's like it definitely was not the immediate like 7 remake reaction of
Mm.
like, well, I'm playing this again
Yeah, yeah,
immediately,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, and so it had its issues, and then it got a lot better. The Royal Edition or whatever it's called now, that has all the DLC and everything.
Yep.
And they reworked a lot of the systems, and it is a much better game now to go through and play. Like it feels like this is what it should have been, but they just couldn't
Original.
delay it anymore because it was literally delayed for years and years.
Oh man.
Um, so when it originally came out, it was like not super loved by everyone. It just was I think not divisive. It just felt like I to me it felt like it just was a little lackluster for a mainline
Rushed
Final
or
Fantasy release.
mm,
And definitely felt a little rushed in certain parts, especially the last half of the game. And so like that with the brutal 14 launch was just
mm,
like really like the Final Fantasy brand just didn't have much
mm.
to really lean on. And then Yoshi P made the decision to, instead of keep patching 14 and just make it okay and
Yeah, yeah,
then let it like live out however long people want to keep playing it, and just stop updating it basically.
yeah.
um made the decision to like, nope, we are stopping it. We're cutting it off. We're
Yeah,
taking like 2 years or something insanely short for an MMO development.
yeah,
And we're rebuilding everything from scratch and we're starting
yeah,
over. And they even worked it into the lore
yeah, yeah,
that they like summoned Bahamut and he destroyed everything and the servers went offline.
yeah,
Like that's actually what happened. It's such a
yeah.
cool story. But um the way he the way he turned that around to what it is now, and how good of a representation of the Final Fantasy like sort of legacy it is, with so many Easter eggs and homages, and just you can tell that people making 14 like understand what makes Final Fantasy cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And just knowing he's at the helm of this, it's like to know that the next leg of Final Fantasy, even if it's just this one game and 14, is in like his hands, is
Yeah,
like I can sleep easy. It's like it's in good hands with him.
that's
Um,
awesome.
so the other thing I like about 16, because it's like they're just swinging for the fences. It's like I read that it was like something about they had like PS5 like engineers helping them develop the game, so it like runs like
And it,
outstanding on a PS5.
and
It's
it's
like
only PS5, or is it cross platforms?
currently it is just PS5. It'll eventually come out on PC, probably like a year and a half later, like 7 Remake did.
It's
Um,
like I mean, I can be a PS5 snob because I have a PS5, but it's just
yes.
like don't try to have it both ways here. Just only PS5 level hardware here. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. Yeah, and it's not like PS4, PS5. It is PS5 only.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
So just like yeah. Can't
and,
PS4 no bueno.
no,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing would combust.
Burst into flames. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're doing that. They're, I think he used the term open zone versus open world, because the
Okay.
thing that 15 came out when every game was trying to be open world
Open world.
sandbox. And it's
Yeah, yeah.
like cool, but like that means you have a lot of empty space in between the cool parts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it just feels open world actually makes your world feel smaller because
Yeah.
it's just
It's a
more
good point.
condensed, right? And so I think he used the term like open zone, I think is what he called it, where it's big areas, but they're not one seamless open world. And I
Yeah.
heard that and I was like, perfect. Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
what 7 Remake did, was more of that. It was just big
Mm,
areas, not a
mm,
big seamless open world or whatever,
mhm.
right? And I hope that's what they go with in Rebirth. I don't want one big open world because it'll just feel small. Like it
Yeah.
won't feel that big. Um so anyway, so yeah, he's doing open areas, open zones. Um we mentioned he's going all in on the storytelling and narrative, which 15 was, I feel, lacking for sure. It just was not a super strong story delivery. It was interesting, but it just didn't. I wasn't like hungry for the next cutscene like I was with
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
13 or 7 Remake. It's also the first mainline M-rated Final Fantasy.
Oh,
Uh,
no way.
yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It's not. It's and like some of the trailers, there's like it gets bloody from what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm glad they made that. I'm sure that was like a lot of discussions back and forth because ultimately an M-rated game will theoretically sell less copies because less people can buy it.
You're pigeonholing your audience. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So
But I think they've maybe realized who their market is. So
that
yeah,
that and I think I don't know if it would have affected their decision, but like that argument has been made for some like Marvel movies, and those movies have done incredibly well, right?
I was just about to say. I remember like Deadpool was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I was like, oh, this is a risk, and it's just
like
yeah, like crazy. Yeah,
best like
yeah.
X-Men, like X-Men universe movie of all time or whatever the records it was.
And so
Or it was like it was best R-rated movie opening of all time or something.
I think like that that might be a very old like a 5 year 10 year old way of thinking of like you gotta you gotta appeal to the you know 10 to 15 generation, otherwise you're not going to sell anything
Right.
video games. And it's like, no, video games is an adult hobby as much as it is a kid's hobby.
Yeah.
So like yeah, yeah. um you'll just engage, you will better engage a smaller audience.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep.
And so that just makes me really, because there are some things in Final Fantasy where sometimes they can just be a little too safe or
Yep.
but it's just like literally there was a shot of like some kid being protected by his bodyguard or someone, and the
Yeah.
guy got killed and like blood splattered all over that kid's face. And
Yeah.
it's like, Jesus, like this game's getting dark. And
And I'm like, I I appreciate that because the immersion is better.
Yeah.
Like you know, I would never say anything bad ever, ever, ever about FF7 or a remake, but sometimes you're just kind of like, feel like there should be some blood here,
Well,
like
a good comparison is like the the last fight in Advent Children. If
yeah,
you watch the director's cut or whatever, like
yeah,
Cloud is bloodied to shit
yeah, yeah,
When Sephiroth is like he's literally like you see he's in the air and he's like cutting him up and like blood splattering everywhere and it's like
yeah,
man that was like visceral like that was
yeah,
intense and yeah like
yeah.
that probably would have made some of the parts in remake like a little better but for that
It's
little nitpick it does not ruin the game for us at all.
exactly 9.99999 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, no, I kind of like, look, I don't want gratuitous. Like at some point, you're just like, okay, now you're just going for shock value,
Yeah,
but just to kind of like it it's hard to appreciate the stakes if you're at the stakes of everything if no one ever seems to get a cut ever.
right.
So
And
yeah.
actually, now that I think of it, it's like when I think about the storytelling in 14, it's definitely a story that would be enhanced by like having that M rating and being able to show blood and
Hmm.
stuff
Yeah.
without being gratuitous. Like there's just moments where like, ah, that would have been way more intense if like sometimes you see like a little blood in their mouth, but it's like if you saw
Yeah.
like a blood. So it's like if I can see the way they do their storytelling in that, but just make it M rated, it would be like a perfect combination. But it's an MMO, so they want to keep that T for teen.
The thing that will bug me is when it's like a huge like slash coming and then like camera switch
Sure,
um
yeah.
and you're just like, come on, seriously. um and I remember actually like in remake when you're in the Shinra building and you're in like the simulation and it kind of goes all freaky and it's like Midgar being like destroyed by the meteor.
Yeah.
And Sephiroth kind of like kills Tifa in like the simulation, whatever. But it's just like
It
you
like
see like
cuts away or
ching,
something, right?
ching, cuts away
Yeah.
and then she's on the ground and you're just like,
Yeah.
like I um, it would just be so much more like that would cripple me. And instead I'm just like, oh, she seems fine, she just fell. But it's that kind of stuff, right, where you're
Yeah.
just like, um you had your chance to like emotionally ruin me right there
Yeah.
and you didn't take it. That's on you.
And you know what? I bet you there's a version of that cutscene where it happened, and they were like, "Can't have that."
Teen, yeah,
The ESRB is
uh,
like, "Nope,
prac-
that
yeah,
can't. You can't show that."
standards and practices was just like, nope, you want teen rating, nope,
Yeah,
just cut, put it together, there you go.
yeah. I
Yeah,
guarantee that's how it happened.
yeah, fuck. Yeah, there's a universe where that, anyway.
That where that
uh
exists. Yeah.
yeah, anyway,
So
just the stakes, I think, is the thing that it takes me out of the immersion.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think starting with a new like with a new entry, new like fresh start, it's like you don't have to protect like because I'm sure it's done on some level to protect the image of the original or whatever and keep it
Yep.
the same rating. But it's like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one's like clean slate, and I'm glad that they're giving him the sort of free reign to like make a darker story and use that rating to tell like a more intense story probably so
Oh man,
yeah,
awesome. It got me excited for it.
it's gonna be so it's gonna be so when I do this for MMO launches and sometimes other games but when the last expansion of 14 came out my boss laughs at me that I told her I did this um I'll buy like those like veggie trays and like meat and cheese trays and like
Yeah,
like somewhat healthy snacks like not just bags of chips right and
but
like
easy, easy
Right.
food.
And
Yeah, yeah,
I will like set them up here and I'm like, all right, I'm not moving for
yeah.
like 12 hours. And just like I just think of like like Homer on Simpsons just yeah. When I'm just playing and like 16 FF16 is gonna be that. I'm gonna have my snack trays and my Mike had given me like a little like a super mini like very mini fridge.
Yeah, yeah.
I might put some stuff in that and keep it by the couch.
Awesome.
So yeah, 16 is gonna be it's gonna blow my hair back. Like there's no doubt in my mind. It's gonna be and it's gonna be a PS5 showpiece for sure.
I um I love my gaming setup here because it's like it's in the basement, so even on like uh I saw a meme today that was just like someone looking outside like what a beautiful day, curtains down. Yeah,
Turn
yeah,
on the games.
you're on the game, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to go home and think about how nice it is outside while I play my video games.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's not that pathetic, but still, it's kind of like even if it's a really nice day out, and it's like, oh, you know what, I want to play games today. Basement, curtains, kind of pull those down. It might as well be the black of night,
Yeah,
and I love playing a game in a completely dark room,
yeah,
when it's just the light of the TV. Um,
same.
Drinks, snacks, whatever, just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, you're just like
Yeah.
you're like you're locked in,
Hmm.
you're 100% focused on that game and nothing else.
Yep. Yep. Um, so, and that's, oh man, I'm getting like deja vu of when I got remake. And so it was just like,
That's how I feel about
oh,
16 right now. Like
oh,
to a
wow.
less degree because 7 remake was that much more important to me, but it's
Yeah.
like the level that I'm excited to like have a week off of work. I'm I'm literally doing nothing for at
Mm.
least the until I beat the game. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get groceries the day before. So like I have food stocked up or whatever for 4 or 5 days. And I am not. I'm gonna be playing like 18 hours a day,
You're
probably
crazy.
at least. Like, and it's not because it's like I feel like I have to. It's like try to stop me. Like I won't be able to turn the game off. I might have
Yeah.
to give my PS5 a break. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just have to set up a fan next to it just to like keep it cool or whatever. But yeah. Um, so anyway, yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about 16. I'm just because I can't watch anything about it. I just wanted to share some of those thoughts. And this is like why I wanted to do the podcast because no one at work will listen to me talk about this stuff because they
No,
don't care.
no, I love your kind of analysis of like, it's the love letter to the original
Sure.
concept of Final Fantasy. So like in the same way that nine rebooted that um
Just like the legacy.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it's kind of like when you think about it, like, okay, Final Fantasy one, like it on NES, like look, it was limited technology, and so like there's only so much you can do with that concept. And then it's
It,
like with PS5, it's just like, okay, look, here you have black mages and you have dragoons and you have knights, and just like, and this is reality.
and
Kind of thing. So
and what I like is like because it's like from a gameplay design or a game design standpoint, it's like if you tried to like remake Final Fantasy 1, like it wouldn't be that good because it's such a simple story
yeah,
and it
yeah,
would
yeah.
require a lot of retooling to make it a compelling game like in modern,
Yep.
design. So the way they use 9 to like tell a new story but
Mm,
reference that and
yep.
sort of like kind of embodies the spirit of FF1, but tells its own story. And I feel
Yep.
like 16 can do a same thing where it's like, no, granted, remaking FF9 would still be a very good game. It's not the same as trying to remake FF1 because
Yeah,
9 is
yeah.
very, in depth and complex. Um, but to like be telling a new Final Fantasy story on new hardware
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
very
Yeah,
specifically
yeah, yeah.
designed for that hardware. It will be able. It could be like these set piece moments that I saw in the trailer. Like you wouldn't get that in a Final Fantasy IX remake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'll still capture the spirit of what nine captured, of what one captured, and that sort of leapfrogging just to keep that old classic fantasy sort of feeling alive, but tell a brand new story in a cool way. Yeah,
Crap.
it's just
I'll,
so
I
exciting.
just now it's just like, is this is 16 gonna haunt my queue for games
You got
here?
2 months. You got 2 months to clear out at least one game on your queue.
Oh God. I mean, two months is nothing now. Like, it feels like 2023 just started.
I
It's like
know.
it's
Yeah.
um
Yeah, it's
anyway.
crazy. And I already have so I keep like a journal of games I've completed all year. And I
Oh
have
wow.
it's like 19. Like I have so many games I've already gone through because there's just so many
Ugh.
so many to go through. But yeah, we'll talk about that stuff at the end of the year. We'll go through the list.
I need to make more time for gaming.
And it's less about comparing numbers, but it's just like
No, oh
to
no.
reflect on the some of the experiences that both of us have had with our games.
No,
So yeah,
definitely no. It's more of just a comment on, like, man, I
just
miss.
wish you had it.
I wish I had more time. I gotta make time. That's the thing. It's everyone has time. You just gotta make time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's. What time? Yeah, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll go into the last bit. We'll talk. We'll get your impressions on those Tekken trailers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Street Fighter, and then I have a stupid little game for us to play after that. So,
Your
uh,
games are always fun. So yeah, no worries.
all right,
Um,
we'll take a
that that
short
was
break.
that was really cool. I kind of didn't know anything about FF16, and now I'm like super jazzed for it. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's why, like I said, that's why we do the podcast because I will tell this to people at work, and they're like, what game are you talking about again? Or what final what? I'm like, ah, fuck.
I was like, you still talking?
Exactly. So this is a good outlet for me.
Yeah, no, cool. Okay, I will see you in a sec.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay, cheers.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're gonna finish up here with a couple things. So before I meant to send it to you earlier, but about 20 minutes before we started recording, I sent Matt a couple Tekken 8 trailers because I wanted to get your impressions. So I sent you because it should be known on the podcast now that you're a go-to for Paul,
Yeah.
Law, and King. And then I snuck an Asuka trailer at the end just for mental damage.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You get me up here, and then you took me down.
yeah. Although based off our last showing on Tekken, my Asuka wasn't doing very good, so I got some work to do. But excuse me. So yeah, just give me if I don't know if you wrote anything down when you're watching them because I gave it to you very last minute. But just what did you think? So for anyone listening or watching, it's just the like character intro trailers that they've released. They're like 2 or 3 minutes or something. Just kind of a move showcase more or less for these characters.
Yeah. So no, I was just like, oh man, Garrett's really kind of throwing me my highlight reel of
Yeah.
favorite characters. So starting with Paul right out of the gate. Anyway, all of them were awesome. Like I said to Garrett, as soon as we started this pod, like, oh, can we just like play a Tekken round again? I'm all jazzed up for Tekken. Now Paul, some of the classics, the down, forward, right punch. That made a showing for sure.
I love
Anyway,
too that like his intro, he like brings a brick wall just so he can punch through it. Just that's like his intro when he
yeah,
starts a battle.
I kind of like saw a bunch of combos and moves. I was like, okay, I know all of those, so I'm set. A couple of new ones that I was really like, ooh, okay, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah, the new
So
mechanics. I forget what they call it now. Is it because I'm getting Street Fighter terms in my head. They're like heat actions or
is that like the blue kind of like
the weird like the like
activation?
little cinematic zoom in moments and like slow
Yeah,
down
yeah, yeah.
moments. I think it's heat. like Heat Rush and Heat Dash or Heat something.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
something too where like you like do like a really kind of devastating thing, and then
and
they're
then
able to like get right in
yeah,
into you kind of
that's
thing.
part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the
yeah,
new
yeah.
mechanics. Yeah. Uh,
So that was just like, ooh, I like that.
and because it puts you in like an enhanced state, almost. I think it's kind of like what Rage would be like. Because
Okay,
I don't think I've seen Rage in any of the trailers, like when they're low health. And it's like when
it's
you're in that state, you can do like powered up versions of some of your, like an example for one would be like, I know I saw one in like the Nina trailer where instead of like one of her combos, she like, instead of doing like punches or something, she like pulls out guns and shoots you like a few times
yeah,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah, yeah.
that. So that you just do powered, and it's like a meter you're burning, and then you can like, when you do the dash or like one of the big attacks to end it, it'll like burn out the rest of your
Deplete it.
meter or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it looks super polished. And I was like, Paul's like, cause Paul's from OG, like this
Yeah.
is his eighth Tekken. And I was like, he's looking more and more like Bob every day.
He's getting a little chunky.
Getting a little chunky. And then like closes it off where he's like, I'm in the best shape of my life or something like that. So I was like, okay.
And
Anyway, clearly you're doing all right, but yeah.
one cool detail is when he does his like super at the end,
Mm.
um, when he does a big punch or
His
whatever.
his sleeve like
So-
rips off.
and
Yeah, yeah.
it stays off. If you like that,
Yeah,
if that
yeah, yeah.
doesn't kill them and you're still fighting after, like his sleeve is just gone.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
So no, that was awesome. And Paul's kind of a ham, so I was just like, yep, love it, love every part of this.
Yeah.
He just needs to like have a I don't know, an ending with Kuma in it or Law
Yeah.
or something, and then bingo card complete. Um, Law was awesome. Is Forest Law in it as well, or is it just Marshall?
So this was martial law, right?
It was,
That
yeah,
was, and
yeah.
he's the father.
Father, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't. I have. Has been no mention of Forest Law,
Because
yet.
I think like seven only has Marshall as
I
well,
believe
maybe.
so. Yeah.
Anyway, it's just kind of like, oh, here's the son. It's like, ah, nope, back to the old guy again.
Sure.
uh, Anyways, definitely bringing that Bruce Lee energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Several
Big time.
times. Yeah, yeah, like
Especially with like the enhanced like graphics engine, when you see like him just like tensing up and stuff, like
yeah,
yeah, it's like way more like obvious just visually, not even the sounds he's making.
like Bruce Lee is barely a parody of martial law. Like it's just like Jesus Christ. Anyway, awesome.
A lot
Some
of
class.
familiar flip kick combos there too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So definitely will enjoy playing with him. However, King was probably my favorite. I was like, holy crap, there's so much like with all the it just looked like you could do more with King than you ever could
Yeah.
before.
I
It
feel like
was
there's
just
a lot more like random things that turned into throws or like
yeah,
air throws or like
he
yeah,
had some
and
good counters, good air
counters.
throws.
That's the word. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I remember once like that move that I never understood did anything where you just like take them and kind of like rattle them around and then
Sure.
like turned it into like a a suit
Yeah.
like a whatever. Anyway, and his like rage or whatever final move was epic. So I was like, oh, King looks like he'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
I'll definitely spend some time in practice mode with King for sure.
When my
Um,
friend posted, when that trailer dropped, my friend posted it in our Final Fantasy Discord, and because he's one of the ones I play Tekken with sometimes, and he put that trailer, and I was like, "Wow, I can't wait to feel like I want to uninstall this game after playing this guy," because it just all the throws and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Um,
yeah, so
so
good.
no, that looked good. And then the Asuka one was actually pretty fun.
She's got
The
new
like,
stuff too. Like
yeah, oh
there,
yeah,
there's a lot of
there was
stuff that I
something
was like, I have not seen that move before.
I remember watching it and like I think I audibly said, "Don't like that." Don't like that either. That's gonna get me all the time. Um, and then like there's the classic Kazama like backwards heel kick to the
Yeah.
bottom, and then
The June special, yeah.
June special, and I'm just like, don't like that, don't like that. Anyway, I was like, this looks like Garrett is going to kick my ass with this
Yeah.
character several times. She did like the bicycle
Yeah.
like launch, and I was like, oh, that's
And I
a
think
classic.
I'm pretty sure like one of her Tekken 7 intros is that exact.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's
Exactly.
exactly. I was just like, this is a high res version of that. Like it was pixel, perfect kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
remember I read, I don't know if it was a comment or somewhere in someone's chat on like a Twitch stream or something, where someone like was going looking, frame by frame looking at these trailers and
yeah,
said something about how Lily has bought the school that Asuka goes to, so now her uniform is different. And I was like, sure, that probably would happen in Tekken lore. I don't know.
yeah,
That
it's just
sounds like it could happen.
nothing about that like is even remotely surprising. And it's like, sure, what's the like? Why is that even like that doesn't even raise an eyebrow?
And it's because it's like, and I know it's like Asuka and Lily are like rivals to
Yeah.
some level, and so it's like the rivalry has gotten up to the point where she just bought the school so she could make her wear the uniform or some shit. And I'm just like, yeah, that's probably true.
Yep. No. All right. So then Asuka is what's her next move? Like your move, Asuka. Like
Yeah,
Anyway, she definitely looked like she kicked some ass, and classic. Like, I'm always partial to the Japanese characters in Tekken games.
sure.
And just having lived there for a while, like I love being around the language, and it was just like she's just so funny, and just at the end, I feel like her like I just won pose was just like don't fight,
Yeah, you don't
whatever.
have to fight all the time or something like
Yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. And so I'd be like, oh, just everything's just so Japanese about her character. So yeah, that was awesome. That was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Um, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this when we were doing our Tekken, like, first to 10 episode. But the producer did mention that it is crossplay.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like, even if I buy it on PSI, so you and I can play, my friends that are getting on PC, I can still play with them
Yep.
and stuff. So, and that
Man,
just lets more people play it and play it together, right? So,
that must be no small task
no,
to do.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was a big mountain to climb, but now I think that like games have started doing it. It's
It'll be
easier
worth
to
it for
get it,
sure.
it's easier to
Yeah.
like get it approved or whatever.
Um, the one thing that was funny, and this may be just a consequence of watching like four in a row, was like I feel like it was like Tekken 8, and it
The
was just like
announcer.
the announcer was like, "Ooh, that might get annoying."
I don't, because I don't think he's gonna.
Say that often.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty
Um,
sure. Man, does anyone announce your character name when you're playing?
I think so. Yeah. Like I
Just
did.
on
Oh,
on
sorry.
the select screen.
Select screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's fun. That would
and
be
that's
fine. Yeah.
um,
It's definitely
and
because you watched four in a row.
yeah, exactly. So that was the only, and then I remember like I was like, oh, first one was Paul, and it was like Paul Phoenix, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, and he had like a really like intense way of saying everyone's name, and
Yeah.
I
He
was like,
did like a
no,
good he like I don't know what the word for it would be, but the way he says martial law.
yeah, he does like a tongue, like a trill, like it was like martial
Yeah, yeah,
law.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
was like, ah, he's the hype man. I get it. Like that's
yeah,
good.
no, and I was like, I love that. It was just like the same like Tekken, like
Oh yeah, yeah. That would be like when you like hit
once
start on the main
boot up the
menu.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Uh,
don't think you have to worry about that.
no, no, anyway, I wasn't worried at all. It was just kind of funny. But anyway, yeah. Tekken, sign me up. Tekken grip ready to go.
Yeah. uh,
No,
and I think
not
he
that'll be a good
said,
time.
I think the directors tweeted that I think he just straight up said it's gonna have more characters than Street Fighter 6 has, which I think they have 16, 17 or something. So
Okay.
it's or maybe more. I can't think of it now, but uh, the guy I was watching like one of Maximillian Dood's videos, and he said like he wouldn't be surprised if they have like almost 30 characters to start.
Jesus
Uh,
Christ.
yeah,
Well, like how many does
because
seven have?
seven had a lot before DLC.
Yeah.
Even I think they
Yeah.
were close to 30, if not at
Man.
30.
Okay.
And there's no reason to think this one will start,
I,
significantly less.
as we kind of learned in our first to 10, like I love a good armor king.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
and I need to have Horong. I hope
Yeah, he'll
I
be
don't know.
there.
Yeah, okay.
He's.
Good.
I don't think if he wasn't there, it would be like his student or something. Like he's such a mainstay after Tekken
Okay.
3. Like, yeah, he'll be there. I
And I guess
would
I
put
mean
money on it.
it was Bake and then
True. Yeah. True.
and then Horong. Um
But I don't think Hodong's going anywhere yet.
okay. At least
And
there gotta be some Taekwondo, don't bother with the punches
right,
character.
right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the speculation is that like this game, because like they were talking about they're gonna start doing like internal beta testing soon or something, meaning it's like it's a wait, like it's next year. Like Tekken 8 is probably next year.
Oh wow. Nice.
And because we were like getting so many characters, like they were dropping a character trailer like every other day. But they've slowed down, and it's like
Yeah.
okay, like I think we got like 8 or not, maybe like 7 or 8 characters so far, and it's like okay, if this is coming out next year, like we have a lot more character trailers
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them
yeah.
to slowly, start rolling out every couple months or whatever. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think we could be close to 30 characters when it comes out.
I can't wait. Like one of my favorite things to do in the history of the universe is playing Tekken with like you and Mike. That's like my
Yeah,
favorite.
I'm sure
That's
Mike is gonna buy it too. I'm pretty sure he said he was.
good.
Yeah,
That's like my happy place.
yeah,
I love playing some Tekken.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And
we'll play a
it
bunch.
it's funny, like I don't mind losing at Tekken. Like, it's like
Sure.
it's like I'll throw my controller and be kind of angry, but it's just like I'm still having a fun time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially when it's like us playing. Like I can get mad when I'm playing games like that online against randoms.
true.
But when I'm playing with like friends or people I know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just this, especially with Tekken with us, because we are pretty evenly matched between like me, you, and Mike, and so it's
Yeah.
like it never feels like frustrating to play because we're always there's a lot of push and pull
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we
yeah.
play. So we'll definitely do that again. If anyone, so I didn't upload it to Spotify, so because it's mostly visual. So if anyone is listens to this on Spotify, me and Matt did like a first to 10 Tekken 7 battle with some weird kooky rules that we came up with. And so that's on YouTube only, just because I didn't think it made sense to upload it to Spotify. But we'll do that again for sure, and I'm gonna see if I can set it up with the PS3 to capture video as well. And if it does, then we'll do some Tekken Tag at some point.
Oh, nice,
We
nice.
can do kind of the similar thing with that. But yeah, that
I
we
have
did that.
some pretty epic uh
Costumes.
costumes
Yeah, same.
in Tekken Tag. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like years of doing ghost battles or whatever they're called in that game to get all
Yeah.
that stuff. So yeah, we'll do that again for sure because that was super fun.
And I
Um,
mean, it wouldn't be the worst Spotify podcast in the world.
yeah,
But
yeah, it wouldn't be the if it was audio only. Now I can on Spotify you can turn the video on and watch it as a video,
and
but if
I
you're
mean,
listening in your car, it's probably not good podcast.
I mean, my comment stands. It's probably not the worst in the world. But,
Sure.
it'd probably be if you played Tekken, you'd probably
Sure.
appreciate
Sure, yeah.
what was going on.
Fair
But
enough.
appreciating that, yeah, maybe it's not,
It's
it's
more of
more
a
of
visual.
a visual.
Yeah.
That side quest is more of a visual one, yeah.
Yeah. Um
Or what do we call it? A random
Random
encounter, or
encounters. Yeah, that's what we'll call that series. To keep with our JRPG theme.
well,
Um
we will schedule a random encounter
yeah.
again sometime
Don't think
soon.
about it too much. Don't think about it. Okay, so just on the topic of like fighting games, so I've been getting super hyped about Street Fighter 6, and I honestly have not been like a day one Street Fighter person. I don't think ever. Like I've always gotten into it later, especially like starting at 4. And we had Super Street Fighter 2 back on the SNES days, but
Yeah.
playing it more at like a technical level, and understanding the mechanics more on a technical level. Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 I got into eventually, and Street Fighter 5 was fine. I know it was real bad at launch, but they definitely made it much more fun today, like over the years. And Street Fighter 6 uses the same engine that Capcom is using for all of their games, including the Resident Evil remakes.
Hmm.
And so like the character models and animations look so freaking good. Like, oh my god, this game in motion looks incredible. And they're going back to like very hip hop style aesthetic.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like Street Fighter 4 and 5 went into just like a little over the top, like a little too showy. Like every character like takes themselves so seriously, and like this is more like no, these are like you guys are literally fighting in like a. I think like the character select screen is like you're in this like back alley with graffiti on brick walls and stuff, and all the music is very like got a lot of hip hop style. All the special moves do this like paint splatter. It just looks so good, and so in the last couple weeks, just to like because we play, we've been playing a lot of Tekken in the last you know couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I need to like remember how to play Street Fighter because it's just such a different
It's
feeling
different. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
game. So I started playing Street Fighter 5 again, just reinstalled it and like relearned how to play a little bit. Um and so like we do Tekken grip for Tekken. That does
Yeah.
not work for Street Fighter for me
No.
because
No.
this
No. No.
button layout is just doesn't make sense. Um and for some reason I remember I had an art like Mike got me one, I think. Yeah, Mike got me a arcade stick years ago, like for Christmas or something. And I had played that with like Street Fighter 4, and I was like, oh, like I'm actually way better at Street Fighter with a stick
Oh wow.
versus a controller, just for the more complicated like Street Fighter like inputs you got to do.
Mm,
So I started like looking online or whatever, and I was like, like if I can find a decent deal on one, because the one he gave me doesn't work anymore because
okay.
it was like a couple years old when he found it.
Yeah.
I think he gave it to me because it's Tekken, like it's branded as like it's like a Tekken
Oh okay.
brand stick, and so it was more for like the visual, thing than the utility. But so I went online and I was just like looking for like an arcade stick or whatever. It's like like if I'm gonna like really get in, because I've like already paid for Street Fighter. I Street Fighter 6, like I already bought it. Like it's coming out June 2nd, and like I already own it. So like I'm jumping in day one for
Hmm.
how good it looks. Um so I was looking for an arcade stick, and because what I was gonna say is like if I'm going in on Street Fighter, like I know I'm better with a stick than a controller, so like let me just look. And
Yeah.
like to get a good one, like there's ones that are like 250 bucks. I'm like I'm not going that far.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like to get like a decent one, you're looking like 150 to 180 kind of thing. And I was like, that's still a lot to like spend on something that like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use or that I'm
Eh,
gonna like or whatever.
yeah.
So it was like I was on Amazon as I watched some reviews and I found like a really good one for like 150 or 160 bucks. And the upgraded version of that one was like 170 or something. And I went on like just logged into my Amazon. I just had a random $75 credit. I don't remember when I got a gift card
Nice.
from I must have got one Christmas or something and like redeemed it and just never bought anything.
Mm,
But I just had like $75 sitting
done.
there. So okay, so this pretty good stick will cost me, like $80. Like, sure, like that's an amount
That,
I'm willing to put down.
that's free
Uh
money.
right. So
Yeah.
so I bought that. It came in like last week sometime. Started playing. I fucking sucked with it. Because I haven't played with one of those for so long. And I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
had
yeah.
to think like, okay, like hard kick is I gotta move my thumb this way or my finger this way or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like major buyer's remorse for a couple days. I'm like, God, I
Mm,
just suck with this. And I was like, I should just use the controller because I was getting okay with the controller. I was like, and I don't like returning stuff online because it's just such a hassle to like,
pain. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, so I just tried it for a few more days, and it was like last like Friday or Saturday I was playing like at night, and it like literally like instantly just
Clicked.
clicked, and it was just like
Yeah,
one of the things you could do is change, so like the joystick it like clicks like on the it had what's called a square gate I think it is where
yeah.
it would
Okay.
like click in the four corners but
Yeah.
not on the straight like
Diagonals.
sides, and it
Yeah.
came with an octagonal gate, so you just
Oh,
had to
okay.
open it
Switch
and
it.
switch it out.
Yeah.
So I just looked up how to do that. It was pretty easy after I saw like where the screws are or whatever. And so then you get like all eight directions
Yep.
clicking so you can feel it or whatever.
Hmm.
And I did that, played for a few more days, and it was literally it's like, oh, I can use this now.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't have to
That's
think about
awesome.
where my fingers are like to do the thing I want to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like every night I've just been playing like an hour of Street Fighter 5, just like getting used to, and I know I'm gonna have to relearn stuff for 6 because the whole system is, different, but at least like getting the fundamentals like relearned. But I was so like depressed about this stick and how much I could have spent that $75 credit on like because I want to get one of those like the purple like PS5 controllers.
Mm,
Or like I just like there's so many things I could buy. Why did I
yeah.
get this goddamn stick? I suck. And then just a couple days, I'm like, oh, there we go.
Okay.
I
Now
got
we're
it.
good.
Okay.
Now we're good.
Yeah.
Um, no, I haven't played Street Fighter like in a really long time. I think I played like there was a Street Fighter versus Tekken game,
Yes.
which was
I
fun. It
played
was the
that recently too.
it was the Street Fighter
Yep.
engine
Yep.
or whatever. I remember playing that in Japan, and I mean, it was fun. It was just with some guys and just kind of playing, a game night, whatever. But that's probably the most recent Street Fighter game I've played.
In the recent like weeks that I've been playing, just like reacclimating because we were playing so much Tekken, I was like, oh, let
Mm.
me play that. Like,
Yeah,
I'll get some of my Tekken, like because I was playing
yeah,
Asuka in that game or whatever,
yeah.
and but in the Street Fighter feel. So
Engine, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and so I was
yeah.
playing a little bit of that too, and that game is pretty wild, and it's got a lot of characters.
Oh yeah, totally.
Um,
Well, I mean, you've got two rosters,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah,
Um,
that was a lot of
I,
fun playing some of that.
I remember like as a kid, it
Yeah, we
just
had the
seemed like
joysticks.
oh yeah,
Remember
no, for
those?
sure.
Yeah.
Yep. The for the SNES, yeah.
Yep.
Well, do you remember like it was for SNES or something else? Like the plug, it was kind of like
Like,
SNES, then it had like this weird thumb,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. That you plug
like
in might have been
Sega or
Sega
something.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, whatever, just a weird nuance. But yeah, that we use that for Killer Instinct.
True.
That was
Yeah.
like why we had it. Like we wouldn't play it for like Donkey Kong or whatever. Like that's a
No.
fighting
Yeah.
game thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um
Because
yeah.
we had Street Fighter 2 Turbo as
Mhm.
well, but Killer Instinct was definitely the one we played more of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and I remember again life went so much slower as kids where it was just like it felt like Street Fighter 2 lasted like a decade.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was Street Fighter 2, then there was then there was Street Fighter 2 Turbo, then there was Super Street Fighter 2, then
Yeah.
there was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And it was just
Yeah.
like,
I
are
don't
they
even remember.
ever going to get to Street Fighter 3? I think they did. Sorry, they definitely did.
But
But
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
it was just
there's
straight Street Fighter 3, and it was like was it
Well,
Third
they like
Strike?
they had Street Fighter Alpha
Yeah,
and like
which took place before Street Fighter 2 canonically, and yeah.
anyways, but it was then I remember like it was like Street Fighter 3 and I was just like finally. Yeah, like just reminded me of like there's a Mitch Hedberg skit where he's going on about like naming the vitamins. He's like vitamin A, vitamin B. Okay, slow down. Vitamin B1, B2, B3, B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. Crap. And so I was like, are you guys really like just worried you're gonna get to enough beyond infinity too quickly?
Sure.
Anyway, there's just like call them a different thing. Jesus Christ, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's also like another meme I saw today. I see it occasionally. I always laugh, and it's like um pixelated SNES graphics, and it's like this looks like a good place to park my car, and it's a car on a pier, and it's the classic like Street Fighter destroy this
Oh,
car. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like this looks like a good place to park, and it's just very obviously
Like Street Fighter.
Ken and Ryu are gonna destroy it just for kicks. Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's funny. That
Classic.
that I saw in a trailer for 6 where you're beating up a transport truck. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
still they're still doing that.
Still destroying a random
Yeah.
piece of automotive kind of parking. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, just really getting back into Street Fighter, and now that I have the arcade stick, I've it took me a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, it's Street Fighter 6 just looks so good. There's a demo coming. There's a demo out on PlayStation now, and it'll be on PC and the other stuff next week, so I can actually try my stick and just try the mechanics. But it's like Ryu and one of the newer characters just versus CPU. And I think there's some of the single player mode you can do, like make a character, go through the story mode or whatever, which is cool. And I'll probably do that because I love when a game that has character creator lets you do the character creator before the game comes out. Because when the game comes out, I just want to play. I don't want to
Yeah.
spend 30 minutes trying to make a interesting looking character. So
Yeah.
I'll do that when the demo comes out and just try the stick. But yeah,
Cool.
for the first time in forever, I'm like day one like Street Fighter, and it comes out between Breath of the Wild 2 or Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16. It literally comes out in between those two games, so it's like right in the middle. Perfect time for me to lessen the pain of waiting for Final Fantasy 16 to come out.
Your gaming schedule
It's
is
crazy.
insane.
It's like I described it as a tidal wave that started in January.
Yeah, geez, man, 2023 game over kind of thing.
It's
So
yeah, it's
yeah.
we'll talk about that like at the end of the year. This is like non hyperbolically one of the most insane like video game years if you just look at January to December, everything that happened in this 12 months. And we don't even know most of the stuff coming out at the last half of the year.
Yeah,
We
we're like
only know
April.
until like end of
Yeah.
June for sure,
Yeah.
right? So, oh god, it's just so good.
Oh,
So anyway, yeah, just Street Fighter. I'm like super pumped.
cool.
All the new character designs look incredible.
You
And
said
the
there's a
game
demo
emotion.
out right now?
Yeah, it's on PlayStation, so you can definitely like just give
I'll
that
check
a
it out.
try. Just to see. Oh, this is what I was gonna say because where you haven't played Street Fighter in forever. They're introducing like new control schemes that are like meant for people that just want to mash buttons. It's like one is like I think it's called modern, and it's like you get light attack, medium attack, heavy attack, and special attack. And it's like the game will decide based on where you are in relation to
Oh,
your
wow.
opponent. Like if you do a punch or kick or whatever, whether it's medium, light, heavy, and then your special is like forward special is like a Hadouken, up special is a Shoryuken.
Oh, wow.
Like you don't have to do the special inputs. And there's
Yeah.
even one that's like just press a button and it'll figure out what to do. It's like called dynamic or something, and it's literally just for like party
Yeah, yeah.
bunch of people over, no one knows how to play,
I don't
just
know
mash a
anything
button.
about fighting games. Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like
That's cool, actually.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's good for two reasons that I was thinking is like obviously the one main reason is like get more people to play this game and not be intimidated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To the point that you can use the modern one, which is like the 4 button control scheme, not the
Yeah.
super easy one, but the normal one. You can do that online. You can play online and just use that
Oh,
basic,
wow.
and ranked matches or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I like about it, because I'll use the like, you know, classic controls, but it's
Yeah.
like this could help me figure out if I like another character
Yeah,
without
yeah,
having
that's
to
true.
spend hours memorizing how to do everything. I can
Mhm.
just put the like easy or semi easy mode on and just start mashing and like let me
See
see
if
how
I
this
dig it.
character feels or
Yeah.
looks or whatever. So I really like it for that aspect. And when you go on ranked, which is this is the thing with Street Fighter 5 that I struggle with a little bit when I'm playing like ranked matches. It's like Chun Li is like my best character, which
Go
I'm
to.
still like bronze. Like I'm not good at Street Fighter.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but it's like if I rank up enough with her and I want to try like Cammy, I'm at the rank I was at with Chun Li, and I get my ass kicked for a few rounds and go back
It,
down, and then Street Fighter 6, it's and I love when
like character base?
yeah, because Tekken does that,
The same
and
thing.
of all
Yeah.
games, Smash Ultimate does that. But it's like you're per character, and there's even a rank for random. So for people that are just good with a lot of characters, you
Oh,
could get
wow, that's cool.
ranked specifically for your random pick.
Mike Mokujin.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So and it just Street
cool.
Fighter 5 was not good when it first came out, but Capcom in the last 5 years or so, it's been Monster Hunter World, which was like the best selling Monster Hunter game ever, and it was like a
Mm.
breakthrough game for that series. Resident Evil 2, and I liked 3 remake, despite what some people say, but 2, 3, 4 remake, Monster Hunter Rise, and now Street Fighter 6 coming out. And it's just like they're non-stop hit like nailing it. Everything they're doing right now is just on top of their game. Uh,
What's the like? It's not Unreal Engine, like all of their
it's
stuff.
RE Engine is what it's
Yeah,
called.
I was like, yeah, RE Engine. Yeah, okay,
Because
cool, awesome.
I don't think Monster Hunter World used it. I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 2 remake was the first game to use it. No, no, it was Resident Evil 7 was
Okay.
RE Engine, and then
Mm,
Monster Hunter was that, and then 8. I forgot about Resident Evil 7 and 8 and how good those were
mm,
received. So yeah, Capcom is just like they're correcting their mistake with they did with Street Fighter 5.
mm,
Because this has got like a full blown story mode of
mm.
like getting like meeting the characters of Street Fighter, like the main characters, and like
Yeah, yeah.
they're training you and you're doing like quests for them in this like semi-open world. You can like mix and match character moves to make your own style, like stats and gear, and that's just all the single player mode. So
Man,
um,
it's. I was talking to someone about this the other day, where it's like it's amazing that games are so much better than they used to be, but
sure.
they're still the same price. Like
Sure. They've gone up over the years, like incrementally, but they're not them. The amount more there is in them is not like the amount more we're paying.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like, look, if I wanted to buy Resident Evil 2 in high school, let's say it was $60.
It was probably 60
Uh,
bucks. Yeah.
Now if I buy a new game, it's like, you know, sure you could get with DLC, but it's like $70 or like
Mm.
$80, and it's just kind of like, for the amount of stuff and time and enjoyment and all these kind of things, it's just like these should be these should cost a lot more.
Yeah. I
It's just
I
it's
look
such an
at it
amazing hobby. Yeah,
when I look at it, sometimes I compare to like I'll go see a movie for like 25 bucks
yeah,
for an hour for 90 minutes. And I'll
yeah,
buy this, even if it's a $90 game, like new PS5 games are 89.99 Canadian. It's like, but I'm gonna play it for like 100 hours. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, And
It's
that's one playthrough. I will go back and play it again eventually too, right?
I'll often look at like dollars per hour,
Yeah.
and like with FF7 remake, like let's say that was like 70 hours. My first playthrough, it was just like that was like one of the best 70 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And it's like if I paid $70 for it, it's like that's $1 an hour. Like
Yeah.
I would have paid $70 an hour
Yeah.
for that. Anyway, it's just pretty it's an embarrassment of riches right right now for
For
sure.
sure, yeah. So yeah, that'll make for if we, whenever like your next like visit home is or whatever, um, like to be able to like break out the Street Fighter and like you've
Mm.
never touched it before, doesn't matter. Here's the easy controls, and we
Yeah.
could still, have fun with it. So
And if you kind of like know the general vibe of Ryu, that then like maybe
yeah,
you could kind of figure it out. Yeah,
right, yeah, and
yeah.
you don't have to do the complicated input, so it just becomes much
Mm.
easier, right? So
I mean, I'm sure Hadouken is down for
yes,
for a right punch,
yeah,
but still,
but just
still.
yeah, like not having to do that input every time, and if you just have to press a button, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's great for just being able to play the game because some of my friends that I play Final Fantasy with want to get it, and they've never played Street Fighter, but this one just looks so good that they're out, like a couple of them are like, yeah, I'm buying this, and it's like they
Yeah.
could start doing it with that control scheme, just like get feels for the characters, and so we could still get on and have fun matches. So.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, did you ever, it's random, there's like this oh, I can't remember what's his name. Anyways, it's like Street Fighter HR or something like that. It's a YouTube channel, and
oh, okay.
it's
Oh,
and so
is it
like
like they're getting their?
it's like human resources, and it's kind of like, yeah, so you're gonna need to get insurance.
Yeah, is it like
Yeah,
he's like firing them or something?
it's kind of like, look, you could
I know the comedian's name, or I mean I know what he looks like. I can't think of his name.
so he's like talking to Vega, and he's like, I have my claw.
Yeah,
It's like
I've
he's
definitely
like,
seen it.
you can, and it's like this is a hand to hand comment. Yeah, but like I have a claw and I have a mask. I have to protect my face. It's like, no, that's not part of the deal. It's like, well, our insurance rates are gonna go through the roof. And it's just it's him
Pete
inter
Holmes. It's Pete
yes.
Holmes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's him interviewing all of these Street Fighter um before the tournament, and he's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna need to get like liability.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like
yeah. I've
paperwork.
definitely seen. I'm gonna go watch them now that you've mentioned them because I'm like
It's
Street Fighter on the brain.
it's
Uh,
so funny.
I'll
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
them for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and I feel like there's one where he had to fire some of them or something, and it was the same kind of humor or whatever. It's like I'm just writing one thing down for that I forgot. So I want to make sure to put in the description. Okay, so yeah, that's about all I really got to say about Street Fighter. I've just been really gushing over that game with the last couple trailers they put out, and yeah, it's gonna be, and it comes in right in that window. Also, so it's like, so I got Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, I got Xenoblade DLC next week, and the remasters are, will be ongoing, right? Uh, Tears of the Kingdom, mid May or early May. There's going to be a new patch for 14 at the end of May. Street Fighter 6 on June 2nd, and then 16 on June 22nd.
Wow,
It's
jeez,
just
that's
insane.
ridiculous.
Like I love. I'm so happy. It's so many
Uh,
games.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm playing Crisis Core.
Well, yeah, but that's also because I have much more time on my hands than you do from day to day. My
Still
work ends at 4:30, whereas yours generally is not always
never
the case.
ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, no, I'm hoping to play a lot more games this summer. So,
Cool.
anyway, cool.
Okay, so we'll move on just to the end here. So I don't know when I had this thought before of just like some of these like nonsensical video game things, and I always thought it'd be funny to, and I the way I could implement into the podcast is like it's got to be some sort of interactive element. Uh, so we played like an either or game a couple episodes ago that was like Final Fantasy themed.
That was good.
So I kind of wanted to do something similar, but this one I think it will work if we both just give our takes
Okay.
on what the thing is, because it doesn't hurt that I know what they are because I'm mixing them up. So I'm gonna give us. I wrote down a bunch of, and a friend at work helped me come up with some. I think I have like 18 of them of just really dumb video game things that I love. So, example, double jump makes no sense at all in any universe, but I love a goddamn double jump. Like, and a platformer, give me that double jump. I don't care how little sense it has to make. Some games will try to make it like, oh, it's just jets on your boots, which like that would just make you like, that would not double jump you. So what I did is I wrote a bunch of them out. I cut them up and I just put them in a hat. And I'm gonna pull 2 out, and we have to try and like, I don't know,
which one's better.
Yeah, which one we would rather keep, because they're things that we like about games, and it's like you gotta sacrifice one to keep the other.
I like that. Like it's not like which one's better. It's just it's a very open-ended question of just like keep and dispose.
Yeah, we can only keep one of these things at a time.
Okay. Might not be which one is better, but which one do you want, need, like, think is cooler? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So I have, and these don't have to be like vague. Like I'll give descriptions if you want more clarification of what I mean. Okay. First round. Oh god, this is. I feel bad for what the second one is going to be. Experience points and leveling up. It makes no sense. This is my example I had. That some like little tiny rat level 99 enemy in the end game area could kill a level 10 dragon in the first area. Makes no sense at all. But I love it. I love watching those numbers go up. So experience points, leveling up. Makes no sense. That's the first one. Oh god. Dashing or air dashing? So like a Mega Man dash, or like even like a Mega Man dash makes a little more sense because he's like a robot, but it's like in any kind of platformer, if you just do like a really fast like dash, that doesn't make sense, and especially jumping in there and dashing.
Yeah, I love me a good dash and air dash. So I might need to go with that. Like in especially since I went through Mega Man X1 through 8 recently. It was like, I need to remap the dash to a shoulder button because I'm just constantly hitting
doing it.
Yeah, so no.
Okay, I think of those two, you can make a good RPG even without leveling up specifically, like experience points. Skill trees, things like that. That makes more sense of a character getting better, just like understanding how to use this weapon more with a skill tree. So you could have that progression.
God,
I love leveling up though, but I think
I do love leveling up. Did 13 have experience points proper, or was
it was
just
like the Crystarium points or whatever?
But
so you would level up. You'd level up the rolls.
Yeah, you needed so many points to kind of go around, whatever. That's a hard one, but anyway, no, I'll stick with my gut. I love a good dash.
Okay, same. All right, round 2. First one is okay. Oh, this is bad for you. A villain's generous timeline (parentheses) letting you side quests for 3 days before he destroys the city.
Okay, yeah.
That's one.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're a front runner.
Okay. So that one versus forgiving AI. Example, giving up chasing you if you break line of sight. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
nah,
yeah.
it's fine. I
Yeah,
think like
yeah.
GTA
Yeah, yeah,
or
exactly,
like any
exactly.
kind of wanted system.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I love me some side quests, so that's an unfair
Yeah.
unfair battle, but yeah, kind of forgiving. It's, my favorite part here is just the way you worded it is forgive it timeline. It's like 1 month later, your whatever hunting colleague is still at the pagoda. Hey, yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah, I think of those two, I like that better. I like being able to side quest.
it's
And
kind of
and
like it's kind of funny because with my crisis core kind of playthrough right now, I've never really had people waiting on me, so this would be funnier if I did. But it's just
sure.
like, uh, oh hey Zach, oh you seem like super jacked for some reason. It's like we're gonna go fight some Genesis clone right now, but it looks like you could probably kick their ass. Have you been doing like missions? Uh, oh yeah, I did like 99 of them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe maybe like
I think
maybe
that
like
one wins for
tone it
both of us.
down. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. So yeah.
And if you think if you've side quest enough, you could just kill the things that are chasing you, so you don't need that forgiving AI anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay,
Um
round 3.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh right. I was trying to think what I almost wrote this as a negative thing, but I remember. So, having knowledge after you respawn. So,
Oh,
meaning
okay.
you're going into a mission, you get in there, you get killed. It's like, okay, well, I know there's a guy there now. There's a guy there now. There's.
Yeah.
So the to give this up would mean like permadeath, save file gone,
Oh, okay,
because
okay. Yeah.
or
Yep.
completely random every time you do it.
Yep. Yep. So giving that up, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Versus, okay, this might be an easier one. Uh, eat anything to fully heal. And I was thinking of like Breath of the Wild. You have like one heart left. Just eat a bunch of bananas and you're back at full health.
Yeah.
Don't worry about those sword wounds. Just eat some bananas.
Or my favorite, like, oh, I'm in Dracula's castle. Ooh, chicken. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna
which
eat,
so makes no sense, but super helpful to be able to just eat whatever and get a full heal. Uh,
yeah.
but
I
I
guess like
think
the answer for me is that first one. Like, that you can't give that up. Knowledge of whatever.
right.
Um, the funnier one is just like, oh, oh man, I've just been stabbed. And like, like you literally could make a case for like, sorry, sidebar. I always think about this, like, what does 1 HP mean in
Right.
real life? Like if you have 1 HP, what's that the equivalent to? That's like you on like your deathbed. Um, and like if
Here,
someone
have a banana.
but even like what's 1 HP versus 0 HP? Like 1 HP is like no one look at me. And like, hey Matt, I'm done. And so I always think like um in a fighting game, like, oh, I'm at half HP. Like, what's that like in real life where you're like halfway to death?
Yeah.
What's 100% HP? Like, what? It's like I feel great. My back doesn't hurt. I don't have an
Yeah.
aching knee. Like whatever. And oh, 10 HP off. Oh, maybe that trick knee is now like.
Yeah. I think it's gonna rain soon.
Yeah. So, anyways, to be able to be like, oh man, storm coming in. I'm gonna have a banana, and then I won't feel that in my
Right.
arthritis anymore.
Yeah.
So that is such like a trope of like, I'm gonna kill Dracula and I feel terrible. Ooh, I'm gonna eat a full chicken.
Just to be
Now
in good
now
health.
now I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's a harder question than, but you can't give up the
The other
knowledge
one
after
is
dying.
yeah, the other one is would be very difficult to give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
like
I'm gonna keep that one.
another word for that would be um like actual consequences to your actions. Or
Sure, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that could be a ripple effect of that if that was
re-
gone.
real life stakes.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
There's
Okay.
so many times in games where it's just like, whatever. I just saved. I'll just
Right.
try it.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a part of this. I would
Yeah.
consider that a part of that if we gave that up. Okay, round
It's like
4.
I should change my build. Nah, give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
See what happens.
Okay, round 4. Double jump that I alluded to earlier,
Yep.
or shared inventory or storage. So
Uh,
meaning either you have a party like an RPG and you have a party and everyone just can have the same inventory menu instead of
yeah,
each of them having their own, which some games do that. Or I was thinking like Resident Evil item box.
yeah,
You put
yeah.
an item in this box and you're in the factory now or whatever. Hey, that pistol is still there.
Sweet. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Makes no
Um,
sense, but very helpful to have. But the double jump is the other one.
yeah. I get really annoyed when it's if I'm and this is maybe more old JRPGs where it's kind of like going through some stuff and then it's like, oh, narrative goes to new party. It's like, no, I should have unequipped everyone.
Sure. Yeah.
Or like, God damn it, I left the super useful accessory on so and so before, and it's like a shared inventory. But if it's still on them, like if I would have just
Right.
unequipped it, it's not even like it's like a communal box or anything. It's just if it's unequipped.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good point for the shared inventory would be just like if it is in your if it is unequipped, your character on the other side of the world can just use that item. That would
yeah,
count.
yeah. So I get really annoyed when I can't do that, or at least when modern games usually say like, hey, you're going to a point of no return, like, do
Right.
you want to whatever? So I'll say that one. I mean,
So you want to
I'd
keep
play,
that
I'll
or
keep
keep the
that.
double jump?
No, I'll keep the shared inventory. Yeah,
Oh, you're getting rid of the double jump.
I
Oh.
am, but you this isn't a
No,
democracy, you can have your own. Yeah.
because what I think we'll do is we'll keep the ones that we kept and we'll keep going down until we have one left.
Mm.
So that way we'll have
I
the
mean,
same
i
pool. You
I
make a
haven't.
good point though. I could go either way. Like that. That would be so annoying if you just get to a new chapter with a new party member. And you're like, yeah, you have nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I also have not played like Metroid Prime recently.
Sure.
Like so I haven't played many double jump games
Sure. Sure.
recently. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess Mario doesn't double jump, so we at least have one good platformer without it.
Yeah, fair, fair.
Just make them jump higher then.
Yeah.
Okay. Round, what are we, 5? Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one to have them paired together. So fast travel
Ooh.
and okay, so this one might need a little explanation, but distances being unrealistic. So, example, I'm in the Breath of the Wild map. I'm
Mhm.
in the desert at the south corner of the map.
Yeah.
It would if I were to just walk north
Yeah.
on foot, it would be maybe 20 to 30 minutes probably give or take. And I'm now in the snowy
Snow. Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, and this is actually kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like, an open world makes the world actually feel smaller
Yeah,
because you're
yeah, yeah.
going from this point to that point with no grand distance, and you're in a new climate or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's what I mean by distances being unrealistic, which is nice because I don't think I want to have to go as far as it would actually take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially if I get rid of fast travel, because
Yeah,
that's the
so
other option.
I yeah. Um I feel like, yeah, this one might be easier because it's like it's nice that distances are unrealistic, but fast travel would make all of that. Yeah, I feel like
It
fast
would
travel is
solve that problem. Yeah.
yeah. Even if distances were realistic, fast travel would solve that problem. So yeah,
And
yeah,
God, like think about would be like even like Horizon. That world is massive. It's like, oh,
yeah.
you got a quest up there. Good luck.
Eh,
See you
eh,
in
eh,
30 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Or PS5 speed faster than you can click the button.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, even in like, let's say like Miles Morales, where let's suspend disbelief for a second. Like, let's say that's a realistic interpretation of the
Sure.
size of Manhattan. It's like, I could walk 10 blocks, or I could just get on a subway and be there instantly. Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Fast travel, I think, is the right answer for that one.
yeah, yeah. One thing I don't like is when fast travel costs you
Cost
something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm a notorious cheapskate when it comes to items in general. Like, I'll finish the game and I only use elixirs against the final boss.
Yeah. Same.
uh, so any sort of like, ooh, you fast travel will cost you. It's like I'm just like, no, I need to wait till I get whatever power up that I can do free fast travel.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
fast
Yeah,
travel's
that
my
was the
answer.
right answer. That was the right answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this one feels targeting you. Uh, handling big unrealistic weapons with
Yeah, yeah.
ease.
Okay. Buster Sword. Okay.
Buster sword, giant axes, whatever. Those would never work the
Yeah.
way they do in video games in real life, but I love it. Digitally enhanced maps and or on-screen UI like mini map compass, waypoints,
Oh,
markers, quest markers, objective like side objectives on your map, that kind of stuff.
this might be the hardest one. I love me a good mini map.
Yeah.
Especially if I can toggle it. Like, I like my, this is a random side note, but like, I like my big map to always be north is up, south is up, but I like my mini map to be up is straight.
Ooh,
Um,
I don't. I like to have mine north, like,
oh, really?
yeah,
No,
like always that I move, not the map moves.
I like my big map to be like that, but I like my HUD, whatever, to be the map moves.
It rotates, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes I'll just be like, I'm not even watching the game. I'm just watching my map.
Sure, yeah,
um, but what fun would games be if you couldn't wield around a Buster Sword that must weigh 300 pounds?
yeah.
Spinning it around in victory.
In your
Uh,
fingers, basically, to do
yeah,
the
yeah.
victory pose. Yeah,
Uh, oof.
My vote would be for the big weapons because,
What fun would a game be without that, a map or not? So
and
yeah.
that, and like, I have played some games with like minimalistic UIs, and that can
Mm,
sometimes be more immersive and more fun to like try to just read your map and find that thing by just reading the topography of a paper map and
yeah.
like getting there and stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
so
No,
handling big
I agree.
weapons
I
wins.
agree. Yeah. No, I agree. Um, it's kind of like what. Sure, I could play a game where they had normal weapons, and it'd just be like, sure, I can navigate around, but what's the point?
Yeah, it
What's
does
the
not look nearly as cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take no map and Buster Sword.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um. Oh. Okay. This one. Okay. Pausing is one.
Okay,
And I
nice.
put in brackets because you could make an argument turn-based battles because that is taking a pause in between each
Okay,
action.
yeah. Not just hitting start, but
Right.
just yeah,
That could be part of it because it is giving you an advantage by pausing the world
Yep.
You know,
It's a
a
very
bit of video gamey thing.
broad statement. Yeah.
Or unrealistic jumping heights. So when you
Mm,
think of any game where you jump,
yeah.
even more grounded games, you're
Like,
jumping like the height of your like your own height, and it's like that does not happen. You jump like a foot off the ground.
I think about this a lot with like even like you said, grounded games like Tekken, where you're just
Yeah.
like jumping over someone. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like God of War, like he jumps pretty high for what I mean. And that game is like super grounded in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
so boring it would be if you could only jump like a foot.
yeah. Like like be as boring as normal life.
But
um
also pausing and turn-based battles, which we love.
yeah, like I think about that a lot as well, where it's just like, should I do fire or knife to the face? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire or thunder work here? Oh, I
I'm
just
dead.
like I'm dead. Yeah. Better eat some chicken and I'll be fine.
No, we don't have that one. We can't eat chicken.
Oh, right. Sorry, we got rid of that. I don't know.
I think you could design a game differently and the height of jumps wouldn't bother me as much.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go with pausing because if a game is too real, then even the point?
Yeah.
So if it's a like turn-based combat, pausing, um, Mr. X is like coming after you,
Yeah. Good
and,
point.
and
Pausing.
it's
We're
like
keeping
pause,
pausing.
pause it. Holy crap! I need to go upstairs and get like a glass of water or
Yeah.
something like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's all the argument I need. That's a good example.
yeah.
Okay, we got two more. Two more
Man,
rounds.
pausing, A, turn-based combat, B, hitting start, or C, shutting the game down and dealing with it during the light of
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, this. I think this one would be a little easier. Uh, Respawning enemies. So whether you're farming
Sure. Okay.
money, grinding in an RPG, because it's like this type of bear is probably extinct now. You can't fight it anymore.
Yeah. I was just like, how is this a good thing? It's like, oh yeah, farming it. Yeah, you're definitely
Farming
gonna
and grinding and yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Um, or jumping out of water. So I think of games like
Mario.
Mario, where you're like get the legend, you jump out of water, which makes no sense in
I
any
mean,
universe.
just pull back on the analog stick and hit jump. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Um yeah,
That I like respawning enemies. Getting rid of jumping out of water would make water levels even worse,
true.
but
But
I love to grind
yeah, exactly. It's kind
and
of like
farm.
if you couldn't jump out of water, I'm sure maybe it's like, okay, I gotta go to that shore, get up and do it normally. Like
Right.
if you I would be more annoyed if it was just like I need experience and I've literally killed every behemoth in,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
world. Like, I should have I should have thought I should have thought of a sustainable option.
Yeah. Just start a farm and you just grow them. It like takes a couple years and you kill them. Oh, I got one level from that harvest.
I want to make this potion and I need 17 behemoth horns, but they're an endangered species.
Yeah,
and
okay.
and and like um the EPA is on my ass about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an eco terrorist.
I'm an eco terrorist.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that's the right answer.
I need the Ultima weapon. You don't understand. Oh, they respawn. Oh, okay. Well, screw you, UNESCO or EPA or whatever.
Yeah. All
They'll
right.
come back. It's fine. Just walk around this forest 20 steps and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Respawning. That's the right answer.
Okay.
Ooh. This one. This one will be hard. Okay.
Okay.
Massive inventory space.
Okay. Yeah. No, of course.
um. Or unrealistic amount of health, because you kind of talked about this before. So
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that is like, you know, you get hit with a sword once in like a JRPG, you're probably dead.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
get shot with you get like a meteor cast on, comes down crashing on you. That doesn't just take 25%, of your health. Or like
Yeah.
getting shot in a game. It's like, yeah, one shot and you're probably dead. So that is what I mean by like unrealistic health pools. Fighting games would be much more boring,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man.
But then giving up having so massive inventory, getting rid of it would mean you'd have a realistic inventory. So
Yep.
you'd have like
Yep.
a bag to put some stuff in.
Yep. Yeah, this is a hard one because like Final Fantasy inventory is like your scroll bar is
Yeah,
like
like a pixel.
how many sort like I mean it's also funny like my materia inventory in Crisis Core right now is out of control. Like Zach is like literally hauling around a Santa sack of materia and like of 300 fire materia as well. Like, so and I don't even think twice about it. But then
Just having like realistic health.
yeah, of just like I mean, you think about it, it's like Thunder 1 zap, like you should be in a hospital.
You're probably at least unconscious for several days.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've got brain damage.
And we can't just eat chicken to get that health back because we got rid of
No,
that.
oh God, no, exactly. I don't know. I feel like that the unrealistic health expectations or whatever. If your inventory had to be trimmed down, it would just be like, look, you get a new bangle, you sell the old one. You get a
Sure.
as long as shops again, the unrealistic um pawn shop expectations of them always buying anything you ever want to sell.
Sure.
Um I'm gonna go with health, but
Yeah.
could be,
I think
not sure.
that would make the moment to moment gameplay way worse if you didn't have that.
Mm.
Whereas you could plan for having less inventory space.
It's just
But
like, oh,
if your
uh
plan is to never get hit by anything,
yeah, I feel like
that's kind of
I,
hard.
I've never played Dark Souls, but I feel like that's the general vibe of but anyway, where it's just like don't get hit ever.
Sure.
That's how this world works,
Yeah.
you get shot in the face, like it's not like it's 50% HP, like no, you are dead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So it's an uneven number, so we won't go and like compare them all. I'll just read off the ones we kept, and that took longer than I thought, so that was actually really fun to just take our time with each of them.
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna
was
I was
really
gonna
fun.
go through another round if we blaze through them really fast, but
Take note, maybe we can do a champion of champions
sure,
game
yeah.
later.
I'll
Yeah.
keep the ones we kept. I'll keep them separate. So this is what our games need to have,
Okay.
or maybe it'd be more fun to read the ones that they don't have, because these are things that our games already have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let me
Okay.
read the things that we can't do in games anymore.
Okay.
So we have tiny inventories.
Okay.
We don't level up or get XP.
Oh God.
We can't just eat random shit to heal.
Okay.
We have no map other than a piece of paper.
Okay, that's fine.
Can't jump out of water. That's fine, I guess.
Don't get in the water.
The AI will chase us
Forever.
until we do something about it. Or
turn a corner. They saw you turn that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can only jump about a foot off the ground,
Okay.
and we can only jump once.
Oh no. If we can
And
double jump, it'd be fine.
yeah, and distance being realistic, unrealistic. Sorry, so distances are realistic.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we can fast travel. So
we can fast travel. We have good health pools. We can pause. Hey, we can share inventory, so that might help.
Okay.
Everyone has
Hey,
a little inventory.
we have small inventories, but we can share. Okay. Yeah.
We can fast travel the big distances. We got big swords. We can dash.
Yep.
Don't know how great that'll be if we can't jump. But whatever, we can dash. We can grind.
If we can dash, we'll probably jump further.
Sure. We can air dash a foot off the ground.
Hey, whatever. Just momentum,
Yeah.
So
enemies respawn. Man, but we can't level up.
oh crap. Oh no. That's like a Twilight Zone episode.
I guess we can
I guess it's just
stuff to sell, but we can't carry an unlimited amount of money because we don't have massive inventories.
We have to farm close to a town with a shop that will not mind buying the same crap from us day in. Day out.
That'd be a good one if we do this again. Shopkeepers won't just buy whatever you bring them.
But at least
we can respawn. That was the last one.
At least the World Wildlife Fund won't be on our ass about endangered species. So yeah.
Oh, and the actual last one is villains will let us take our sweet time side questing.
Yeah. So we can go get a shit ton of stuff with our limited inventory, and we can't level up on said side.
And we're gonna sell a shitload of bear pelts to this one shopkeeper until we can afford to buy a really good big weapon. And fast travel to that final dungeon and kill the boss
at level 1. we may not have thought this through. No. Tara has used throw a bear pelt at him because that's because the shopkeeper won't buy anymore from me.
We're bear pelt people now. Okay, that was really good.
That was
better than
really
I expected. So I'll keep those and we'll do something with that. Maybe I'll come up with more things and we'll battle them out with this pool of things again or something.
I'll try to think of like a hilarious premise for a game incorporating all of this. I mean, we kind of did it here, but it's just
fill
like
that out a little.
Sweet. We can grind and never level up, but hey,
that's the best part. We can grind, but we can't level up. Damn it!
Do you remember what was like level up or what did we sacrifice for leveling up?
I think it was double jump. Nah, I don't remember. I think it was like the first one. I'll hear it when I'm editing.
Man,
but yeah, I don't remember.
And this might be my bad. We may have sacrificed leveling up for dashing.
I think you're right. That might have been what it was.
We can't level up, but man, can we go
God
fast.
Damn it, Mega Man X, you piece of shit. Why did you do this? Oh my god. I think it was air dashing.
I've fought the same behemoth 20 times and I haven't I'm still the weakest person in this entire village. But man, watch me get to the other side of that village.
Watch me jump 1 foot off the ground and dash really far. That's really good. Okay, that was super fun.
I'll thank you very much. I'll take your I know that was really impressive. I'll take your money, but I can only hold 10 gil because my wallet is
My wallet is full of bear pelts. Oh my god. Oh, that went better than I could have hoped for.
We've just made that the worst game ever. Okay, anyways.
Perfect.
That was a fun.
Yeah, that'll be I might just cut that part out as a highlight for this episode because that was too good. Just the realization of how shitty this game would be and how much of like an oxymoron it is, where it's like, anyway, yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, good. Anyways, yeah, okay, no, this was fun.
Cool. Yeah, that's all I got. We'll I'm not sure. As usual, I don't know what we'll talk about next, but as I'm at work wishing to talk about things to people that don't want to listen, I will inevitably come up with a list of things that we can discuss on the next episode. So I think, we've been going about every other week or so, and that's about enough time for me to come up with stuff that we can have a good discussion and everything. So we'll try to keep to that, but if things get busy or whatever, we'll just do it when we can. We'll do some more Tekken in the near future, I'm sure, because that was super fun too. Now that I know I can set it up to record that way, it just takes a lot of wires.
Yeah, no, that was really fun though. That worked out really well. So no, sounds good. And yeah, we'll try to develop another shitty game with some parameters. So, anyways, don't hate the player, hate the game. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we just followed the rules.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right, right on. Thanks, Matt. That was a lot of fun, and we went a little longer than I expected, but yeah, we had we had some good discussion, and that game was too good at the end. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, no, cool. Okay, cool. Everyone, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
take care.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.